Sports. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez, a civil rights icon. The Reverend Jesse Jackson died today at the age of 84.
We are humane people. We fight for justice and fairness.
Jackson was a young organizer in Chicago when he was called to meet with Martin Luther King Jr. just before King was killed. He became his successor and ran for president twice. The Reverend Al Sharpton on Instagram.
He kept his country on track, kept his world on track. He became the moral center. He became the standard bearer.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
In his statement this morning, Jackson's family wrote, quote, "Our father was a servant leader, not only to our family, but to the oppressed, the voiceless, and the overlooked around the world. His unwavering belief in justice, equality, and love uplifted millions, and we ask you to honor his memory by continuing the fight for the values he lived by."
Jesse Jackson had been battling a rare neurological disorder, progressive supranuclear palsy. 2 people are dead, 3 are critical after what police say was a targeted shooting at a high school ice hockey game in Rhode Island. Court documents show the suspect, who died by a self-inflicted gunshot, had a history of family disputes involving their gender identity. Pawtucket Mayor Donald Grebian.
Our prayers go out to the victims, to the families, and everyone impacted by this devastating incident.
The search for Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother is now in its 3rd week. CBS's Andres Gutierrez has developments from Tucson.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano says the entire Guthrie family and their spouses have been cleared in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. In a statement, Nano said, quote, "The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case." Meanwhile, the FBI continues to analyze male DNA found in Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood from a glove, trying to match it to unknown male DNA recovered in the house.
Russia is flexing its military might ahead of scheduled peace talks in Geneva today. The BBC's Sasha Schlichter.
President Zelensky said 400 drones and 30 missiles attacked 12 of Ukraine's regions. He renewed his call for tougher sanctions on Russia and more air defense supplies to Kiev. Russia, he said, must answer for its aggression.
The year of the horse has arrived. This is Chinese New Year. CBS's Anna Corin is in Hong Kong.
It's about looking ahead for the year, warding off any evil spirits and hoping that the year is filled with prosperity, luck, and good fortune.
This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
It is 6:03, and right now in downtown St. Louis, it's cloudy, 42 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A federal judge deals a massive blow to unregulated slot machines in Missouri.
Judge John Ross rules that Torch Electronics devices are gambling machines, and they are illegal. You've seen those casino-style slot machines in gas stations and convenience stores across the state, including in St. Louis County. Torch has maintained that a legal loophole allowed them to say that they're not games of chance. The judge's order comes 4 months after a federal jury awarded $500,000 to an arcade company, TNT Amusements. In his ruling, Judge Ross ordered Torch to pay TNT's attorney fees and open the door for the competitor to go after Torch's profits. That could be a lot. Testimony revealed that players spent $32 million on just 100 of the Torch machines over a 6-year period. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Organizers asked for attendees to leave any negativity at home and bring signs of hope, peace, and love to Monday's President's Day rally on the Martin Luther King Bridge between Missouri and Illinois. Religious leaders like Rabbi Susan Talvey spoke at the event.
What a good idea to get people together, not about politics, and not about protest, but about prayer.
Hundreds attended the march and rally.
In town in Edwardsville, police chase ended in a deadly crash late Sunday. SIUE police say they tried to stop a truck driving the wrong way near campus around 11 p.m. The driver refused to stop and sped through town before losing control on Route 159. The truck slammed into the Redmond Insurance Building south of Route 157. The driver was pronounced dead at the scene. No officers were hurt.
A Sunday night crash in Town and Country killed one Chesterfield teen and critically injured another.
The Missouri Highway Patrol says a 2018 Audi S4 heading westbound on Interstate 64 somehow overturned and slammed into a concrete median, then entered the eastbound lanes and hit a Jeep before landing off the roadway. Its driver, only identified as a 17-year-old Chesterfield male, suffered serious injuries and was taken to a hospital. Troopers say his passenger, an 18-year-old Chesterfield female, died from her injuries. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
There are two companies eyeing land for a data center in Forestell. Tonight, the Forestell Board of Aldermen will move a public hearing from City Hall to River Oaks Church to hear from residents about a proposal to expand the city's boundaries to include 216 acres in unincorporated Warren County. According to the Post-Dispatch, that would be for Minnesota-based Opidin Investment Company and its subsidiary, Connect.
Another company is looking at 240 acres on the south side of I-70, land that is already within the Forestell city limits. It's not clear if that company has submitted official plans.
If you're headed to Energizer Park Saturday for the City SC season opener, you might see a few new eating options. 4 St. Louis area restaurants are setting up shop: Taco Buddha, Biscuit Town, Goshen Coffee Roasters, and Motortown Pizza. There will also be non-alcoholic stations around the stadium with non-alcoholic beers, mocktails, and other zero-proof drinks.
Well, judging from the crowd size, a steady cold rain Saturday didn't deter revelers from hitting the streets of Soulard in St. Louis typical fashion.
Even though the liquor was flowing, problems were limited. Bess McCoy is with the Mardi Gras Foundation.
We are so lucky that that both the St. Louisans and the people from across the country who come to Soulard to celebrate Mardi Gras generally do so responsibly and respectful of the neighborhood.
St. Louis police reported issuing 20 citations to underage drinkers. New this year, proceeds from the mayor's ball will benefit tornado recovery efforts. McCoy says while the ball was a sellout, the amount of money raised is still being added up. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
A longtime manufacturing site in Lindenwood Park could be replaced by a Quick Trip. The convenience store chain is proposing to demolish the U.S. Ring Binder building at Arsenal and Jameson to construct a new gas station. The plan involves raising the industrial facility along with some homes nearby to fit the new store. The Lindenwood Park Neighborhood Association will host a public meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. Residents can see the plans and ask questions at Watson Terrace Christian Church.
From the KMOX business desk, Value City Furniture is shutting down, but what if you haven't gotten your furniture yet? Consumers have filed more than $57 million in claims against the Columbus, Ohio-based company for undelivered merchandise, more than 36,000 claims. Value City stores are currently going through their liquidation process. The 4 area stores, Town and Country, St. Anne, St. Peter's, and Fairview Heights are still open. A bankruptcy court has not yet set a deadline to file claims, but creditors get paid first.
It's 6:08, traffic next.
Everyone needs to have at least one person in their corner in life. When you don't, it's an extremely lonely and frightening place to be. But knowing you have that one person gives you peace and hope. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Since 1988, myself and my firm have been in so many corners for so many clients for so many years. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason, and it's not even close. We fought like hell for you. We fight the bullies, automobile insurance companies, the makers of unsafe products, medical providers who injured or killed their own patients. It has been such an honor and made my life complete. If you ever need us, it's easy. On your mobile device or computer, visit forthepeople.com, and then we get to work 24/7. Whether you're hurt in a car crash, injured on the job, or have questions about your Social Security, we're here for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance, the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor. Happy Febreze. La 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 la.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 6:10. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still dealing with our crash here on westbound 64 at McKnight. Still just the right lane open westbound 64. Well, actually, I take that back. Looks like the two right lanes are getting by now, so they're making headway on it. But the jam westbound 64 is still west of 170, so it hasn't really gotten much worse. In fact, since they've opened the second lane, that's probably helped that to some extent. And the good news is on the eastbound side of 64, there is still no delays past that crash scene. Nobody's bothering to slow for a look. Just a little bit of a slowdown right now. Northbound 55, north of McNutt, headed up toward the Joachim Creek. On Route 3 at Monsanto, looks like a train crossing. Northbound's backed up at Queenie. Southbound's jammed back through 8th Street. A little bit of a slowdown now. Eastbound 64, passing 50 on the Illinois side due to road work. And Namioki Road at Maryville Road, we have an injury crash. They also started road work yesterday, 111 at 270. So look for restrictions there. That's a semi-long-term project they've got going on at that location. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. What's the latest with this weather?
Mostly cloudy today, breezy and quite mild this afternoon, high 62. Remaining cloudy, breezy and balmy tonight, low 58. Those clouds give way to sunshine tomorrow, breezy and warmer, the high 74. That would tie the record from 1971. Thursday, partly sunny, breezy and warm, a chance of a shower or thunderstorm from midday on. Any thunderstorm could produce gusty winds and hail. The high Thursday, 75. The record is 77, set 10 years ago. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's cloudy and 43 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 6:12.
During Black History Month, I've been highlighting Black leaders who helped shape St. Louis and expand opportunity for everyone.
That's Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell saying Black History Month isn't just about remembrance, it's about vigilance.
But this week is bigger than one name, because long before the great Bill Clay was elected to Congress, Black Missourians were fighting through poll taxes, literacy tests, and intimidation just to cast a ballot.
Bell said on the House floor, St. Louis legends fought to open the door, and I won't let anyone quietly close it.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson has died at the age of 84. The civil rights icon and former presidential candidate fought tirelessly to give a voice to the poor and underrepresented groups. The Reverend Al Sharpton, in a video on Instagram, reflected on Jackson's life and legacy.
He became the moral center. He became the standard bearer. And the question is, will we continue those he poured into?
A cousin of Illinois Governor Pritzker is leaving the Hyatt Hotels Corporation hierarchy after his name showed up in the Epstein files.
Tom Pritzker's name is seen repeatedly in Justice Department documents regarding the investigation into deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And in a statement, Tom Pritzker said he exercised, quote, terrible judgment maintaining contact with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. WBBM has seen some of the emails between Tom Pritzker and Epstein in which the two discuss things like vacations and having dinner together. It has been previously reported that one of Epstein's accusers testified she was coerced into having sex with Tom Pritzker, which he denies. The Hyatt Corporation says 75-year-old Tom Pritzker is retiring as executive chairman, effective immediately. Terry Keshner, 105.9 WBBM.
Former President Barack Obama has broken his silence over a social media post from President Trump where he reposted a video featuring Mr. and Mrs. Obama as dancing apes. More on this from CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang.
Former President Obama has broken his silence nearly 2 weeks after President Trump posted a video that included an animation of the Obamas' faces transposed onto the bodies of dancing cartoon apes.
The majority of the American people find this behavior deeply troubling.
On a weekend podcast, he said those in the White House appear less disturbed.
It's 6:15. Let's start things off with baseball, and KMOX's Matt Pauley.
As the Cardinals hold their first full squad workout, some notable alumni are on hand as Ozzie Smith and Yadier Molina both join camp to work as instructors. Manager Oliver Marmol cherishes the former Cardinals who come to Florida to help the team.
The advantage we have over a lot of other clubs is a rich history and then the willingness of those guys that made a name for themselves in St. Louis to come back and speak into the culture moving forward. And it's one thing Chaim and I have spent actually a lot of time this offseason on, and I'll kind of give you guys here in the next few days our game plan, but our hope is to have several guys that haven't been in camp in a while back in camp and start to normalize that as well.
Molina will spend about a week here before the World Baseball Classic and will come back after. He'll also make visits throughout the season to the big league club and the minor league affiliates. Marmol is hoping to see Yadi a lot.
The plan is to have him around as much as possible. That's my number one plan, and he's more than open to that. So I know he has to travel to the WBC and he has other responsibilities, but when that's not the case, he's going to be with us as much as possible.
Adam Wainwright is also among the alumni group that is expected in later during camp. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinals spring training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
It'll be the United States and Canada for Olympic gold for a seventh time in women's hockey. And this time, the Americans are the favorites. The U.S. clinched its berth with a 5-0 win over Sweden in semifinal play. Canada barely got by Switzerland 2-1. College basketball. Nate Heisey hit a go-ahead three-pointer, and then an offensive rebound in the final seconds for Iowa State capped their rally. Number 6 Iowa State beats number 2 Houston 70-67 in Ames in a Big 12 clash. Heisey was 3 for 3 from three-point range after his sister Taylor Heisey scored to help the U.S. Olympic hockey team beat Sweden. The Cyclones closed with a 17-4 run to take down a second top 10 team in 3 days. They beat Kansas on Saturday, and now they have beaten Houston. The Cougars are 23-3. They had just been named the number 2 team in the country in the latest AP Top 25. The new number 1 is Michigan. They're number 1 for the first time in about 13 years. Illinois drops from 8 to 10, and number 18 is still St. Louis University. The Billikens play tonight at Rhode Island. We'll have the game for you at 6 o'clock with the pregame at 5:45. SLU is 24-1, and tonight they go for their 19th straight win. That would tie a program record. They are unbeaten in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Rhode Island's not bad. They check in with a 14-11 record, but they've sprung some big wins this year over Dayton, over George Mason, so they're no one to mess with. Southeast Missouri State plays at Tennessee Martin tonight with first place in the OVC in their sights. 7:30 tip-off for the Red Hawks tonight. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens and Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
The Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament has been the showcase for buzzer beaters, madness, and championship glory. With nearly 5 decades of heart-racing excitement, it begins here at Enterprise Center. The 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union 1, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason championship. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
It's Tom Ackerman. Here's the deal you need to know about. McKelvey Homes has 6 market-ready homes left at Summerlin in O'Fallon. Just 6 remaining, and they're offering $10,000 free cash at closing, plus the lowest rate fixed financing of the year. This is McKelvey Homes and President Jim Brennan. I've known him for a long time. He doesn't do gimmicks. It's a real offer on real homes that are ready now. Talk to the McKelvey sales team about qualifying. Go to McKelvey Homes to learn more, because when they're gone, they're gone. That's McKelveyHomes.com. McKelvey Homes is breaking ground in O'Fallon with something called Strawberry Farms. First foundations are in there, and a display home is opening soon. Walking trails, a lake, a berry patch, honoring the land's history as strawberry fields. a private playground, Fort Zumwalt schools. Get a fresh start in a great location at Strawberry Farms. And I've told you about the reserve at Wildwood. That's getting a lot of attention. And I can understand why. Park-like setting, front porches on every home, walking trails. You get it. It is a beautiful area right there. Wildwood Town Center is just a stroll away. Top-rated Rockwood schools as well. McKelvey Homes, they always find the best sites. McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:20, and this is Total Information AM. Time to update you on your ride in and the weather as well. It's going to stay very nice and spring-like, at least for the next few days. Here's Roger Brandt. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we look good on the highways with the exception of westbound 64 so far this morning, Debbie. This traffic report is a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. So no work in the crash. Westbound 64 at McKnight. 2 right lanes open. Traffic is jamming just west of 170 on westbound 64 right now. Like I said, eastbound 64 has not been slowing down for look so far, so it still looks great coming in from, all the way out in Wentzville. Southbound 61, eastbound 70 out in that area also continue to roll nicely. Northbound 55 looks good coming up from Festus, although it is slowing now from Bayless up to River to Pear in the construction zone. Still seeing the jams both directions on Route 3 at Monsanto, a train crossing there. Southbound Route 3 is backed up south of the Poplar. Northbound Route 3 is at least slow back at Judith, maybe a little jam by the time you get to Queenie on the northbound side. It sounds like there's southbound restrictions at the intersection of Namioki and Maryville Roads where they have that injury crash. 100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. For same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're looking at another balmy day today. Cloudy, high 62. Tonight, cloudy and breezy, low 58. Tomorrow, clouds give way to sunshine, breezy and unseasonably warm, a high of 74. Thursday's high 75 with a chance of a thunderstorm on Thursday. Right now, we have a cloudy sky. It's 44 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. If you love Thunderation at Silver Dollar City, better go visit the Branson Amusement Park this year. 2026 will be a year-long celebration of the roller coaster that first opened in 1993, and then it will shut down for good. Since it first opened, more than 27 million riders have been on it. According to Silver Dollar City, it had a good run and is considered one of the best mine train coasters in the world.
Missouri U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt is proposing national NIL standards that could be enforced by Congress. Schmidt spoke with Missouri Net's Bill Pollock about the issues surrounding college sports, namely NILs, transfer portals, and eligibility. He called the current system unstable and said it's approaching crisis.
So that would be sort of the benefit of the bargain. So in exchange for being able to do something, these have to be protected.
Schmidt's proposal is designed to safeguard non-revenue generating sports, including women's and Olympic sports. Those sports are funded by excess revenue from major generating sports like college football. He says that excess isn't really an excess anymore.
Well, the problem now is a lot of programs are losing money. College football programs are losing money because they're paying players more than they're taking in. That means that there's no revenue for all the other sports that don't generate revenue.
Schmidt says his plan would ensure schools continue to fund these sports by not giving them other key benefits of the bill unless they pledge to not reduce a certain number of women's and Olympic sports.
Hesitation is a part of daily life, like when we're unsure of what to order at a new restaurant or when we get a call from an unknown number. But new research digs into how our brains control hesitation.
For more, KCBS's Scott Cohn spoke with Associate Professor of Biological Sciences at Carnegie Mellon University, Eric Itchery.
What does the research show? How do we decide when to act or when to hedge?
So the surprising thing is that it really comes down to a small group of neurons in a part of the brain called the basal ganglia. And we found that the activity of these neurons could predict how much our subjects would hesitate, when they hesitated. And interestingly, this is the same part of the brain that we know to be affected in diseases like OCD, ADHD, and addiction.
So, I mean, it's sort of we sort of take for granted this whole idea of hesitation. What sorts of things influence it? I mean, is it just a matter of it's an unknown, it's a daunting situation, or are there other factors that factor in here?
For us, what we saw is that it's really about the uncertainty of the situation. And it didn't matter in the realm that we were looking at if it was high stakes or negative situation. But I think there's an important distinction there between hesitation and indecision, which is vacillating between two options. And so it's sort of exciting to think about how the brain divvies up these two concepts that are very related, but not the same thing, and how the circuits decide how to proceed, and either wait even longer for indecision or just have that brief gut check that we think of as hesitation.
For those of us who want to be more decisive in sort of day-to-day things, does this tell us anything about ways to train our brain to be able to do things more decisively and not hesitate so much?
I think forming habits, good or bad, I guess in this case, good, is really the key thing there. That uncertainty in your life can weigh on you. It can be a spark of excitement, but in terms of efficiency, the more habits that we can get into, even to the point of only having one set of outfits to choose from, things like that, that would certainly remove that hesitation and that bit of wait. It's really, again, all about the uncertainty in our lives that is leading to this hesitation.
Coming up in KMOX News at the bottom of the hour.
If you've been watching Olympics coverage, you might have seen Stiefel CEO Ron Kraszewski among the spectators at the ski and snowboarding events. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
It is now 6:27. That time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestatemasters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatemasters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. or head to rbastl.com.
Amy,
yes.
I have a real beef with bathroom doors in hotels. The stupid sliding door. No, give me a fully shut door, because the sliding door, you know what happens? There's always a gap.
There's a gap.
And so if you have a partner with you in the hotel room, there are sounds and smells and steam.
It puts a new meaning to the word butt crack.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At 6:30, cloudy, 42 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Now, Debbie, we got a couple of trouble spots on the interstates now. We've still got this crash. The first one we had of the morning, westbound 64 at McKnight. Still just the two right lanes open. Westbound 64 is jammed at 170. But again, good news, no eastbound 64 delays through that area. Southbound 61, I am seeing some slow traffic. Wentzville Parkway down to 64. Once you get on, you're fine. If you're going to take eastbound 70, though, just be advised, this is where we have our other trouble spot. It's eastbound 70, east of 79, a crash involving a semi. It looks like right lane's blocked. Traffic starting to back up at TR Hughes on eastbound 70, trying to get around that one. Northbound 270, seeing some volume now. We'll call it Big Bend up through Manchester slow. Northbound 55, more of a backup north of the Union Road overpass up to River to Paris. Still seeing delays. Route 3 at Monsanto. We had a train crossing. Southbound's backed up near the Poplar. Northbound is jammed at Jerome now, so that's getting worse. Westbound 64 through 159 in Fairview Heights. You've got roadwork delays there. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're going to have a cloudy, breezy, balmy afternoon, a high of 62 degrees. Tonight, cloudy and breezy, a low of only 58. Tomorrow, clouds give way to sunshine, unseasonably warm. It's going to be February 18th, and we're going to have a temperature of 74 tomorrow as our high. Thursday's high, 75, with a chance of a thunderstorm. Right now, it's 42 downtown at the Arch.
Today is the last day to register to vote at county clerk's offices across Illinois for the March 17th primary. If you register online with the State Board of Elections, you have until March 1st. St. Clair County Clerk Tom Holbrook told the Spotlight on St. Clair County podcast he's looking forward to seeing a decent early voting turnout like in past elections.
We vote about 25, 30,000 people there at our early voting sites. And it's very, very quick. Very seldom do you have to wait at our early voting sites. If you wait to the last day or two, you might end up with a 15, 20-minute wait.
Holbrook says early voting has begun at his office in Belleville during weekday business hours. Permanent polling sites begin their 7-day-a-week early vote availability on March 2nd.
The CEO of a major St. Louis company is taking a rare vacation to watch his firm's biggest sports investment compete for gold.
Stifel Chair Ron Kraszewski has been following the U.S. ski and snowboard teams across Italy during the Milan Cortina Olympics. Stifel is the national team's title sponsor, and Kraszewski tells Sports Business Journal the 8-figure annual deal has delivered massive returns for the financial services brand based in downtown St. Louis. In addition to the naming rights, Stifel's investments has helped grow the number of World Cup events hosted in the United States, and it funds individual sponsorships for Olympic medalists like Michaela Schifrin. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It is now 6:33, and there is a drastic change in the proposal for a south side intersection near I-44. Quick Trip representatives will be in the Lindenwood Park neighborhood this week to pitch their plan to bulldoze the former manufacturing plant at Arsenal and Jameson. QT wants to redevelop that massive corner into a new gas station and store. Residents can weigh in on this on Thursday, February 26th. The Neighborhood Association is hosting a meeting at the Watson Terrace Christian Church starting at 7.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute is next at 6:34.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
It is 6:35. This is Total Information AM. It's time for your Money Minute from Bloomberg. It is sponsored for you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Elon Musk's SpaceX and xAI are competing in a secretive new Pentagon contest to produce voice-controlled autonomous drone swarming technology. Musk companies are among only a handful that were selected to compete. While it's already possible to fly multiple drones at once, developing the software to direct multiple drones on sea and in the air as a swarm remains a challenge. Costco customers will soon be able to place custom cake and deli tray orders directly through the company's mobile app and website. Previously, customers were required to drive to Costco just to fill out paper order forms in store. The market's in the throes of a rotation. Consumer discretionary stocks, which benefit most from a roaring economy, have given up ground and now lag consumer staples. Well, the path of U.S. interest rates, that remains in focus as traders are fully pricing a Fed cut in July and the strong chance of a move in June. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty, warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And, thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick. And those would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel-and-eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
Let's be honest. The hearing aid industry is broken. Overpriced clinics, pushy appointments, bills of $5,000 or more. That's the trap they hope you fall into. Don't let it happen. Audien Hearing is the escape. Their FDA-registered hearing aids cost just a fraction of the big brands, starting at only $98. Instead of paying as much as $5,000 plus all the doctor appointments and wasted time, you get what you need with no prescriptions, no office visits, no time wasted, and no crazy price tag. Call 800-700-HEAR. That's HEAR. Audien's cutting-edge devices are rechargeable, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. Try them risk-free for 45 days with lifetime support and real human help just a phone call away. Over 1 million people have already said yes to Audien Hearing. Join them. Don't let them take advantage of you. Break free from the trap. Call now 800-700-HEAR. That's HEAR for a very special offer. 800-700-HEAR or 800-700-4327.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 0% financing for 36 months, plus $500 off your project. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It's 6:39. This is Total Information AM on KMOX.
CBS News special report. The Reverend Jesse Jackson has died at the age of 84. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe.
In his statement this morning, Jackson's family wrote, quote, "Our father was a servant leader, not only to our family, but to the oppressed, the voiceless, and the overlooked around the world."
Jesse Jackson was a protege of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. After King's assassination, Jackson led the civil rights movement for decades. He ran for president twice, the first time in 1984.
I ask for your vote on the first ballot as a vote for a new direction for this party and this nation.
He ran again in 1988 and used his Rainbow Push coalition to pressure executives to make America more open and equitable.
In 2017, Jackson revealed he'd been diagnosed with Parkinson's. And while the disease may have slowed him down, he said it wouldn't stop him from his mission, instilling hope in the hopeless.
CBS's Michael George. His family says a public memorial will be held. CBS News Special Report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
It is 6:40 and time for us to check traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brandt in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, unfortunately, Debbie, we still got our interstate trouble spots as traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. The first one we've had this morning is the crash westbound 64 at McKnight. Still just the two right lanes getting by. Traffic jammed at Hanley on westbound 64. Eastbound 64 is not bothered by. In fact, the only delays on eastbound 64 are right through Prospect, and that's bogging down southbound 61 at Wentzville Parkway. The other trouble spots, eastbound 70, east to 79. The three left lanes are open here. The right lanes are blocked due to an injury crash, and eastbound 70 is a solid jam at Highway K now if you're trying to get out of St. Charles County via that route. Northbound 270, Graveway up to 44, and north of 44 up to Manchester is pretty slow. A little slow down at 64 after that. Northbound 55, the right lanes are busy up from Butler Hill to 270. All lanes backed up from the Union Road overpass to River to Pear. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 delays through 159. And then you've got to slow down Route 3 to the Poplar. Route 3's jam from north of Jerome up through Monsanto because of an earlier train crossing. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Sure is nice to be a St. Louisan this week. AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with a terrific forecast.
Yesterday, Tom, we got to 67 officially. Today, maybe a smidge lower, but simply because of more clouds around, but still well above average at 62, and it will become breezy. It'll be breezy at mild tonight. Temperatures drop very little or low in the upper 50s. A cloudy start to the day tomorrow, but it will quickly turn mostly sunny, breezy, and even warmer. We get up to 74. That's the record from 1971. Mid-70s Thursday with sun and clouds and a gusty wind, but also a shower or gusty thunderstorm in spots during the midday and afternoon hours. Friday will turn breezy and much cooler with some sunshine, the high 50. Mostly cloudy and colder Saturday, the high 41. Right now it's 45 degrees at St. Peter's, 45 in Florissant, and mostly cloudy, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Joe. It's 6:42 here on Total Information AM, and the U.S. is sending more missile systems to the Philippines.
The United States plans to deploy more high-tech missile systems to the Philippines as part of a joint security plan this year between the two longtime allies to help deter China's aggressive actions in the South China Sea. U.S. and Philippine officials held annual talks Monday in Manila on broadening security, economic engagements, and boosting collaboration with regional security allies. In 2024, the U.S. installed a mid-range missile system in the northern Philippines called the Typhoon and an anti-ship missile launcher last year. China says the U.S. systems are a threat to regional stability and demanded that they be removed. The Philippines has rejected that demand. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
New research shows how many medications most Americans are taking. Here's CBS's Michael George.
A new study shed some light on how widespread over-the-counter and prescription medication use is in the U.S. The results, published in JAMA Network Open, showed nearly 2/3 of adults used over-the-counter or prescription medications in the past week. About 16% of people reported taking over 5 different medications, and 3% said they take more than 10 medications.
Film fans across the globe are mourning the death of actor Robert Duvall.
I feel very comfortable in my existence between the words action and cut.
Duvall never had the classic leading man look, but made his mark as Marlon Brando's consigliere in The Godfather, and later in Apocalypse Now uttered one of film's more famous lines.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Duvall won the Best Actor Oscar for Tender Mercies, and on the small screen, a Golden Globe for a role he often cited as his favorite, the one that got him recognized on the street more than any other.
Rural America, but cities too, Lonesome Dove. Big.
16 years ago, Duvall told the AP he would not want his funeral to be a depressing affair, but rather,
It would be an up thing, I think. Fun.
I'm Sagar Meghani.
Duvall's name is on the St. Louis Walk of Fame, though his journey to stardom was once far from certain. He struggled with his studies at Principia College, and he told KMOX's Charlie Brennan in October 2006 it was his parents who steered him toward theater.
When the time came at Principia College, when I was floundering academically and trying to find my way, they kind of pushed me into acting. My parents, they suggested it at that stage of my life, and it kind of saved me academically. It was an expedient thing at the time, but it got me through.
Duvall's family was of the Christian Science religion, so that's why he came to Principia High School in St. Louis County and later Principia College up the River Road from Alton in Elsa, Illinois. It's time for some Billiken basketball on KMOX, and we'll have it for you tonight. It'll be SLU and a visit to Rhode Island, taking on the Rams. All these road games, seems like they start out with the Billikens playing a little slow, and then they just kind of figure it out, and they hit another gear in the second half and blow teams out. At least that's what the last couple of games have shown. And SLU, who just ripped Loyola over the weekend, will visit Rhode Island tonight. We'll have it for you at 6 o'clock with the pregame at 5:45. SLU is 24-1 overall, and they're unbeaten in the Atlantic 10 Conference. The Billikens are hot as can be. They remain number 18 in the AP Top 25, which came out yesterday. The number one team in the nation is Michigan. First time they've been in that spot in 13 years. They have a big game tonight at Purdue. The 7th-ranked Boilermakers will be awaiting them inside Mackey Arena for a 5:30 tip-off. Also tonight, the number 22 team in the country will be at UMass. It's Miami of Ohio, 25-0. Would this be the night that they lose their first game? We shall see. They are unbeaten to this point. Also, Southeast Missouri State plays at Tennessee Martin tonight. That's a big game in the Ohio Valley. It's a 7:30 tip-off for those two. The OVC is tight right now at the top, with those two teams fighting for the top spot. Tennessee Martin's 12-4 in the league, and Southeast Missouri State checks in with an 11-5 record. The Cardinals are playing down in Jupiter, Florida right now.
It's a new era of Cardinals baseball as they're one of the youngest major league clubs this season. Manager Oliver Marmol says the standard for the team does not change simply because there are very few veterans in the clubhouse.
I don't think anything is changing other than cultivating a certain leadership quality and collective leadership from a group that doesn't have a ton of veterans in the room. From a culture inside of those walls or a style of play between the lines, it's the St. Louis Cardinals. Like, nothing changes there.
One of those young players is top prospect J.J. Weatherholt. He works at second base when the presumed starting lineup gets on the field. A year after having a smaller role in big league camp, Marmol is excited to watch Weatherholt go about his business every day.
Just being able to see the consistency of play and personality, if I'm simplifying it, that's what I'm looking for. It'll be good to see him every day and not just in short stints like we did last year, and truly evaluate that. I think he's going to handle it exceptionally well, just knowing what I know about him. But being able to actually lock in on him more than we have in the past, I think, is the thing I'm looking forward to the most.
The starting infield group on day one is clearly Weatherholt, shortstop Mason Wynn, third baseman Nolan Gorman, and first baseman Alec Burleson. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinals spring training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Ilana Myers-Taylor won her first Olympic gold in women's monobob and made history as the oldest American woman to do it at the Winter Games. And the U.S. and Canada will face off for Olympic gold in women's hockey. That'll happen on Thursday. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Is your furnace on its last legs? Don't wait for a cold night to find out. Jerry Kelly and KMOX are giving you the chance to win a brand new furnace this winter season. Just go online to KMOX.com/contest through March 1st and nominate someone who you think deserves a brand new furnace. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Win a brand new furnace. For more information and contest rules, just head to KMOX.com/contest.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:51, time to check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got a couple of interstate crashes out there, Debbie, unfortunately. This traffic reports a service of Meadowview Memory Care. Still working the initial one we had westbound 64 at McKnight. Still just the two right lanes open. Traffic is jammed back to about Bellevue on westbound 64. And then the crash eastbound 70 east to 79. The right lanes are blocked there, and traffic is slow approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard. So east of A, and it jams at Bryan Road. So getting tougher on both these fronts. Southbound 61, Highway B down onto 64 through Prospect. That's slow. Northbound 270, north of 55, up through Gravois, midway to 44, and then approaching Big Bend up through Doherty Ferries. Pretty heavy. Northbound 55 backed up. Union Road overpass to River to Pear. Westbound 44 passing Grand. It looks like there's delays there. Northbound Route 3 still a jam. North of Jerome up to Monsanto. Westbound 64 slow both sides of 159, and then west of 3rd Street to the Poplar. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Discover Meadowview Memory Care in Arnold, a small, secure community on a beautiful campus. Enjoy peace of mind with all our inclusive rates and comfortable private suites. Schedule your tour today at rspseniorliving.com.
Patty's asking on Facebook if there's a problem with the Odyssey app, that she is in Denver and has had some trouble connecting. I have no problem connecting on my Odyssey app on my phone, just sitting here right now. So sorry you're having some trouble, Patty, but we are on the Odyssey app. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on X. We're live streaming there. We're, of course, on 1120 AM, 104.1 FM. Where else are we? We're everywhere. We're on Total Information AM on KMOX, and it's a nice day today. We're going to be cloudy with 62 degrees, low 58 tonight, up to 74 tomorrow with sunshine. It's 43 right now.
6:53, and the Reverend Jesse Jackson died early this morning, surrounded by family.
Ed O'Keefe looks back.
In his 20s, Jesse Jackson gained national attention as an aide to Martin Luther King Jr. and a leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
A shot cracked out from across the street, dropping him to the floor.
He was in Memphis on April 4th, 1968, when King was assassinated.
The white people's best friend is dead.
Jesse Jackson ran for the Democratic presidential nomination twice, in 1984 and again in 88.
We do not just need a new president. We need a new direction. Our leaders are talking too little to too many leaders in this world.
His family says Jackson's Rainbow Push Coalition will release details on a public memorial. CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Mardi Gras season's coming to an end in New Orleans. CBS's Katie Weiss reports there have been a few incidents with parades.
Over the weekend, there were photos circulating on social media appearing to show a black doll hanging by beads on a float. The crew of Talks that was throwing that parade called the action intolerable. They said that we are offended by this behavior and it will not be tolerated. Meanwhile, the Louisiana Attorney General is also investigating that incident.
It's Fat Tuesday, also known as Punchki Day, and bakeries are preparing for the rush that comes with it. The traditional Polish treats are denser deep-fried donuts filled with jelly, custard, or cream.
Chris Koval, owner of Jurish Bakery, says unlike donuts, they do not use a machine to fill the punchki.
Not ours. Ours are cut in half and filled by hand with a piping bag. Very old school way, very traditional, and even at our new facility, that is something that we keep true through and through, and that's the way Jerish has been doing it, and that's the way we're going to continue to do it for a while.
Koval figures between the 3 suburban Chicago bakeries he now owns, they've made about 100,000 punchki this week.
We are accepting any punchki donations today, if anyone wants to.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Speaking of Chicago.
Pippen will inbound from midcourt. Rodman on him. Dumars checking Jordan. Pass comes inbounds to Jordan. Turns a triple at the horn. Through overtime.
We've been giving these numbers a lot today. The Bulls only 2 baskets in the last 14 minutes. Jordan.
No, he didn't care about anything. Nobody was ever going to stop him. The greatest of all time. He averaged 30 points a game in his career. His accolades, he's won just about everything he could possibly win. Michael Jordan is celebrating a birthday today. He is 63.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Marcia Sims, Barbara Shively, Kathy O'Brien, State Senator Brian Williams, Karen Foss, Catherine Shaw, Stuart McMillan, Randy Rayleigh, and Sister Leona Luchtefeld is celebrating her 101st.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey, let's talk about one of my favorite places, St. Louis Public Library. I tell you all the time about all of the amazing things that you can do and get at and from the library, things that can save you money, entertain your family, enrich your mind, etc. Get that library card today. But also, they have a lot of fun at the library, and there's a big gala coming up that you can be a part of, an event you won't want to miss. It's Stranger Than Fiction Gets a Clue, their annual fundraiser benefiting the St. Louis Public Library is coming up on Saturday, March the 7th. It's going to be celebrating the golden age of mystery fiction, from famous sleuths to dastardly villains, serving up literary fun. You can get ticket details by visiting slpl.org. St. Louis Public Library has been St. Louis's original search engine for more than 100 years. slpl.org.
Mozart's The Magic Flute comes to life in concert with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Under the baton of music director Stefan Deneve, hear one of Mozart's most brilliant scores performed in all its richness, with the St. Louis Symphony Chorus and St. Louis Children's Choirs bringing its unforgettable characters to life. February 20th and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Roger Brand, we've had some trouble spots this morning. You're in the Overhead Door Company's St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, and good news, Tom. They've both been cleared since we last spoke, so that's good news. All lanes open westbound 64 at McKnight. You're jammed from almost McCausland to 170, though, there. And eastbound 70 bogs down, approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard, a jam from K up to 79. But again, they just opened the traffic lanes there. Southbound 61 south of P onto 64 to the Boulevard's typically heavy as well. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:59, and today is Tuesday, the 17th of February. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
A company says its machines are not slot machines. A judge says, yes, they are, and they're illegal. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This Fat Tuesday, I'm Maria Aquino with how things went over the weekend in Soulard.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It'll be mostly cloudy today with a breezy, balmy afternoon and a high of 62.
It's game day for the St. Louis Billikens. They're 24-1. They visit Rhode Island tonight. We'll have it for you at 6 o'clock on KMOX. We're also the home of the St. Louis Cardinals. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter, Florida. He'll have the very latest from spring training, a visit from Yadier Molina and Ozzie Smith yesterday. It's 7.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A leading voice in the civil rights movement is silenced. His family says the Reverend Jesse Jackson died this morning at the age of 84. Correspondent Steve Kathan.
A young Jesse Jackson became part of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s inner circle, then went on to found Operation Push and the National Rainbow Coalition, which later merged. He ran twice for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1984 and 1988.
Thank you.
Jackson had his critics, those who thought him opportunistic, self-promoting, or a loose cannon. And not all looked kindly on his efforts as a private citizen to negotiate the release of prisoners and mediate problems overseas.
The National Urban League's Mark Morial on CBS Mornings.
His most important contribution was to bring, I think, the ethos of civil rights into mainstream American politics.
Jesse Jackson had been battling a rare neurological disorder. They're drenched today out west. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano.
A powerful Pacific storm is slamming California, sending large trees toppling on the highways and dumping up to a foot of snow in the Sierra. East of Los Angeles, a large tree crashed onto 2 cars in San Bernardino County, where wind gusts hit up to 70 miles per hour.
Whiteout conditions closed part of Interstate 80 near Lake Tahoe. More than 2 weeks and still no sign of the 84-year-old mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti with developments from Tucson.
As the search for Nancy Guthrie continues, the Pima County Sheriff for the first time is officially ruling out any of the Guthrie family members, including siblings and spouses, as possible suspects and calling them victims, plain and simple.
Law enforcement sources tell CBS News investigators are using a signal sniffer device to try to pick up Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker. Hollywood talent mogul Casey Wasserman is stepping away from his agency after revelations he exchanged flirty emails with Jeffrey Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell. But Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass says that's not enough. She tells CNN he needs to step down as organizer of the 2028 Summer Olympics in L.A., too.
The behavior of Maxwell, what they were involved in, is abhorrent.
New research finds a lot of people are on meds. CBS's Michael George.
The results, published in JAMA Network Open, showed nearly 2/3 of adults used over-the-counter or prescription medications in the past week. About 16% of people reported taking over 5 different medications, and 3% said they take more than 10 medications.
This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide, a robust new website, and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with American Eagle.
It is 7:04. We have cloudy skies, 43 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In the news this morning, we have a forecast that you're going to like from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. That's coming up in just about 6 minutes. A federal court ruling could mean open season on those gray market gas station slot machines.
A federal judge ruled late Friday that the machines that we see all over the place now in gas stations and convenience stores operated by Torch Electronics are indeed illegal gambling devices. That ruling provides legal cover for county prosecutors who have been reluctant to file charges. They've said the law has been ambiguous. The decision also bolsters the effort by the Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, who just recently sued businesses in the boot heel which host the machines. The ruling could also complicate a bill that's moving through the state legislature that would legalize and tax the machines and also give current operators like Torch a 2-year grace period. The ruling by the federal judge does allow an arcade company, which says it was damaged, to go after the profits of the slot machine company. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Also in the news, 2 companies eyeing land for a data center in Forestell. Tonight, the Forestell Board of Aldermen will move a public hearing from City Hall to River Oaks Church to hear from residents about a proposal to expand the city's boundaries to include 216 acres in unincorporated Warren County.
According to the Post-Dispatch, that would be for Minnesota-based Oppidan Investment Company and its subsidiary Connect. Another company is looking at 240 acres on the south side of I-70, land that's already within city limits. It's not clear if that company has submitted official plans.
Hundreds marched on the Martin Luther King Bridge over the Mississippi River on Monday. Religious leaders called on participants to raise a moral voice in solidarity with immigrants. DeMarco Davidson tells Fox 2.
Because our faith says that we should take care of the strangers, take care of our neighbors, but we also are seeing the injustice that is happening, and we want to stand up and let people know that we are united together in these things.
Davidson said he liked the big turnout.
There's a drastic change proposed for a south side intersection near I-44. Quick Trip representatives will be in the Lindenwood Park neighborhood this week to pitch their plan to bulldoze the former manufacturing plant at Arsenal and Jameson. QT wants to redevelop the massive corner lot into a new gas station and store. Residents can weigh in this Thursday, the 26th. So that would be next Thursday, February 26th. The neighborhood association's hosting a meeting at Watson Terrace Christian Church starting at 7 p.m.
St. Louis just proves how resilient they are and how much they love to party.
Mardi Gras Foundation's Bess McCoy talking about this past Saturday's Mardi Gras Grand Parade in Soulard.
We're happy to say that once again, there were no major incidents. We're very, very grateful to all of our public safety partners who helped contribute to that.
As KMOX reported last week, Missouri Highway Patrol and St. Louis County Police also were part of the security force in Soulard. Bess McCoy tells KMOX there were very few problems. A St. Louis police officer was captured on social media dancing with partygoers.
I mean, can you blame them? It's a street party. And again, I think that just speaks to what the atmosphere was like in Soulard this weekend.
McCoy says the mayor's ball was a sellout and all the proceeds will be going to tornado recovery efforts. An exact dollar amount that's still pending. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Lowemeyer Sculpture Park is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year.
On any given day, you can visit the park and see around 70 sculptures. And I say around because the number does change.
Lauren Ross, Loumeyer's executive director, she says the land was gifted by Henry and Matilda Loumeier, and the first 40 or so sculptures were donated by St. Louis artist Ernest Trova.
We estimate the number of artists we have worked with over the years on exhibitions and commissions is around 1,000.
A new exhibit, Begin Again, 50 Years and Counting, explores Loumeier's 50-year history and what comes next. It runs through December.
From the KMOX business desk, if you're heading to Energizer Park Saturday for City SC's season opener, you might see a few new eating options. 4 St. Louis area restaurants are setting up shop, including Taco Buddha, Biscuit Town, Goshen Coffee Roasters, and Motortown Pizza. There will also be non-alcoholic stations around the stadium with NA beers, mocktails, and other zero-proof drinks.
It's 7:08, traffic and weather next.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber, first in line for the HVAC guy, first at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardy and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Hey guys, Glover here with my good friend John Moriarty. John and I have been friends and business partners for years now. He is the principal at E3 Consultant Group, and he is back in the DGS fold. So John, introduce yourself to the listeners.
I am so happy to be back and also happy to talk about our firm, E3. We have over 70 advisors, Dave, now in multiple cities, working with our clients on the wealth, tax, insurance, asset protection, business consulting side. One of my biggest passions right now is working with business owners and trying to help them reduce their tax liability, improve their cash flow for future generations.
I've known John for years and years and years now. John is a good guy, very smart, excellent pitcher in baseball. That means a lot to me. You have
those days are long gone.
You have a new book out.
We do have a new book out. It's called The Entrepreneur Playbook, written for business owners that have an entrepreneurial mindset. And the book should be dropping on Amazon probably in the next 30 days. And we've got white papers that are supporting it. A lot of that information is going to be on our website at e3wealth.com. But the key thing to me, Dave, is we try to keep creating educational tools for business owners, individuals, families, so that they can protect the purpose of their money.
So whether you are interested in classic personal retirement, business growth, or just an overall tax strategy, reach out to my friend John at e3wealth.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get you caught up at 7:10 on traffic and weather. We do have some beautiful weather in store. We got all the details coming up after we check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're coming in from out west, Debbie, in the St. Charles County area, we've got delays on eastbound Highway 70. I mentioned Stoppy Hour. They cleared that crash we had east of 79, but eastbound 70 slow, Z to 64, and then bogged down Lake St. Louis up through about TR Hughes, and then it starts picking up the pace. Southbound 61 is pretty busy midway down from Highway B to Wentzville Parkway into 64. It's slow most of the way to 364. Northbound 270, 55 up through the Gravois area is busy, and then there are a couple of pockets, 44 to Manchester, but after that, you're back on track. Northbound 55 itself, you've got delays, as per usual, pretty much from about Union Road overpass up to River Pair. They have that road work back up on westbound 44, west of Jefferson, headed to Grand, or road work on the Illinois side, westbound 6450, past 159. And Route 3 is still a little heavy north of Queenie, headed up through 8th Street due to an earlier train crossing there. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today, breezy and quite mild this afternoon, high 62. Remaining cloudy, breezy and balmy tonight, low 58. Those clouds give way to sunshine tomorrow, breezy and warmer, the high 74. That would tie the record from 1971. Thursday, partly sunny, breezy and warm. A chance of a shower or thunderstorm from midday on. Any thunderstorm could produce gusty winds and hail. The high Thursday, 75. The record is 77, set 10 years ago. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We're not there yet. Still a bit cool out there. Cloudy, 43 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's now 7:12.
Countless leaders pushed from the streets.
Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell acknowledging the work of St. Louisans like Congressman Bill Clay and Frankie Muse Freeman.
Black History Month isn't just about remembrance, it's about vigilance. I stand here because they fought to open the door, and I won't let anyone quietly close it.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson has died at the age of 84. WBBM political editor Jeff Buchholz looks back at his legacy.
Jesse Lewis Jackson was 3 credits shy of graduating with a master's degree from the Chicago Theological Seminary when he left school to work for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and its leader, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice.
The Reverend Jackson joined Dr. King in the 1965 march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, and eventually opened a Chicago branch of the SCLC's economic arm, Operation Breadbasket. He became a close associate of Dr. King, and on the night of April 4th, 1968,
Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
the Reverend Jackson was with Dr. King at the Lorraine Motel. Eventually, the Reverend Jackson would split with Dr. King's successor, Ralph Abernathy, and form Operation Push on Chicago's South Side. Its successor, the Rainbow Push Coalition, is still there. And in 1988, when the Reverend Jackson addressed the Democratic National Convention in Atlanta during his second bid for the presidential nomination, he noted the significance of the host city and its connection to his mentor.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. lies only a few miles from us tonight. Tonight he must feel good as he looks down upon us. We sit here together, a rainbow coalition, the sons and daughters of slave masters, and the sons and daughters of slaves sitting together around the common table to decide the direction of our party and our country. His heart would be full tonight as a testament to the struggles of those who have gone before.
Jackson's family says he died peacefully in his sleep early this morning.
Coming up in the news at 7:22.
A major St. Louis-based company is a major sponsor of U.S. Olympic athletes at these games. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
It's 7:15.
And among the highlights at the Winter Olympics yesterday, the United States and Canada both won in women's hockey, so they will go head-to-head for the gold medal on Thursday. It's time for Billiken basketball on KMOX.
They swing it back. Tavares into the corner. Three blocked by Sharma. He blocked Glasnov's three out of the corner. Now he comes back off the left wing. Bang! And answers back. He blocks the three on defense and comes back. And instant Sharma scores again.
How about instant Sharma doing it on both ends of the court?
Wow!
They are the most exciting team in basketball. The St. Louis Billikens 24-1, unbeaten in the Atlantic 10. They play tonight at Rhode Island to keep this thing rolling. If they win, it'll be 19 in a row. That'll tie a program record. It'll boost their record to 25-1. They're the 18th ranked team in the country, and they are on an absolute tear right now. The number one team in the nation is Michigan. They are awfully good, but they will be challenged tonight as they visit number 7 Purdue. That one tips off at 5:30. Good night for basketball. Number 22 Miami of Ohio. They're unbeaten, the only undefeated team in the country, 25-0. They play at UMass tonight. That one tips off at 6 o'clock. Southeast Missouri State trying to get into the first place position in the OVC. They play at Tennessee Martin tonight. That one tips at 7:30. Now, let's turn our attention to baseball.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. And by Happy Roof. We always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
As the Cardinals hold their first full squad workout, some notable alumni are on hand as Ozzie Smith and Yadier Molina both join camp to work as instructors. Manager Oliver Marmol cherishes the former Cardinals who come to Florida to help the team.
The advantage we have over a lot of other clubs is a rich history and then the willingness of those guys that made a name for themselves in St. Louis to come back and speak into the culture moving forward. And it's one thing Chaim and I have spent actually a lot of time this offseason on, and I'll kind of give you guys here in the next few days our game plan, but our hope is to have several guys that haven't been in camp in a while back in camp and start to normalize that as well.
Molina will spend about a week here before the World Baseball Classic and will come back after. He'll also make visits throughout the season to the big league club and the minor league affiliates. Marmol is hoping to see Yadi a lot.
The plan is to have him around as much as possible. That's my number one plan, and he's more than open to that. So I know he has to travel to the WBC and he has other responsibilities, but when that's not the case, he's going to be with us as much as possible.
Adam Wainwright is also among the alumni group that is expected in later during camp. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Winter is tough on homes. Ice and wind often lead hidden damage you can't see from the ground. Don't wait for the first spring showers to discover a leak. Get the Happy Roofers Spring Readiness Checkup today. We perform a thorough, risk-free inspection to ensure your roof is solid. With our Spring Smile Guarantee, you get guaranteed workmanship and total peace of mind. We always deliver happy endings. Visit thehappyroofer.com or call 314-665-3001.
Ted Drew's frozen custard. When I say that, what do you think of? Maybe growing up, going to the game, and then heading to Ted Drew's with your family for a concrete. Maybe it's, the kickoff to summer for you. Well, I have news for you. Ted Drew's is open now. Well, maybe not now at 7:19, but they're going to be open later today, and they're open for the season. It's spring-like weather, and so get over there and have some Ted Drew's today. The Chippewa location, that's the one that's open right now. Ted Drew's, a tradition since 1929, going back 97 years. Concretes, malts, shakes, sundaes, floats, ice cream, sodas. I bet you didn't know they had all of that on their menu. I always think of them as getting a Heath Bar concrete. That's what I do. But quarts are also available. You can take that home. Ted Drew's isn't just a custard stand. It's a tradition. It's 4th-generation family-run business built on quality, service, and a love for St. Louis. And, that frozen custard. It is incredibly delicious. Ted Drew's frozen custard. It is perfect any time of day. Ted Drew's, 6726 Chippewa.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's get you a check of the roadways and the weather as well. It looks a little gloomy out there this morning. We're going to have a cloudy day, but temperature-wise, it's not going to be bad. Details on that coming up after we check the roads with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, eastbound 70 keeps getting better from the earlier crash we had east of 79. It is slow, Lake St. Louis, in pockets, the TR Hughes, but just a couple of slow spots through there. And after that, you're wide open all the way to downtown. Southbound 61, south of Highway P down onto 64 at the Boulevard. There's slow pockets running through there. Westbound 64, starting to see a little volume again. McCausland out to the Interbelt. Of course, earlier this morning it was jammed, but we had that crash at McKnight, but that's long gone now. Southbound 270 south of Alto will do a little busy. Northbound 270 backed up as you ramp on from 55 through Gravois, 44 to Manchester, and then Clayton Road up through 64. It's busy. Northbound 55, those right lanes bogged down just north of Butler Hill. All lanes are bogged down from the Union Road overpass to River to Pear. Roadwork delays on westbound 44 from almost Jefferson out through Grand, and westbound 64 is backed up from 50 through 159 due to roadwork on the Illinois side as well. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, Patty got on the app on Facebook. I suggested to her, commented as KMOX News, that maybe try updating the app. That's what always works for me. When my apps don't work, I just update them, and magically they start working again. So the Odyssey app is working for her.
We're adding IT consultant to your title.
It's that easy. But great that you're back online with us, Patty. High 62 today, mostly cloudy sky, cloudy and breezy, low 58 tonight. Tomorrow, a high near the record of 74. It's going to be sunny and warm tomorrow. We look forward to that. By the way, that would be a record of 74 set back in 1971. It's February, should we remind you. It's cloudy and 43 right now.
7:22, and when it feels like spring here, it is very wintry in Milan, Italy, site of the Winter Olympics, and the Stiefel name will be attached to American winter sports for at least another 8 years. We get more from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
The downtown St. Louis-based wealth management company recently extended its massive sponsorship deal with the U.S. ski and snowboard team through 2034. The deal provides financial security for the athletes and includes direct performance bonuses like the 5-figure payout that downhill skier Breezy Johnson recently earned after she won gold. Stiefel CEO Ron Krzyzewski calls the sponsorship smart business and tells Sports Business Journal the long-term contract ensures that the U.S. team has the resources it'll need to compete in the Winter Games for the next decade.
American figure skater Ilya Malinin was the favorite to win gold, but missed the podium after falling twice in the men's free skate. After the competition, he opened up about the Olympic pressure, but said he was proud to finish.
CBS reporter Kelly O'Grady tells us how athletes prepare for the pressure of the Olympics.
In a moment no one saw coming, quad god Ilya Malinin showed he is human.
I just thought he had nerves of steel.
Poised to win it all, the skating superstar unraveled in the men's free skate.
Being a former figure skater and a coach myself, I know that there are days that your legs just aren't working and your head's not connecting.
After, Malinin admitted the Olympic pressure was unreal. It's a world few can relate to.
I like to say that pressure is a privilege, and being able to compete on the Olympic stage, on the biggest stage that we see in front of the whole world is pretty amazing.
Why is the Olympics so different when it comes to the pressure?
It's really different just because it's every 4 years. The crowds are different, the stadiums, the spirit of it is really different.
Dr. Jess Bartley is the Senior Director of Psychological Services for Team USA.
We walk them through a lot of the nuance of what this is going to look like well before it happens.
But in the middle of competing, it's up to the athlete alone to manage the mental game.
I used to just almost feel paralyzed because everything bad that I've ever thought of now feels like it's happening.
Gracie Gold is an Olympic bronze medalist who has openly shared her struggles.
Sometimes I call it the aquarium effect, where you're like in the tank and everyone's like staring. That's not exactly an environment that's conducive for calmness.
That's why Team USA says they aim to arm athletes with the mental tools before they even compete.
When do you feel most vulnerable? Is it after you get scored on? Is it after you maybe faltered at the start? And so we're doing all of this so that they know, like, ooh, I'm having that negative thought. This is how I shift my thinking.
That is Kelly O'Grady reporting from CBS. The Vatican is bringing in technology to help the faithful, and it comes at an important milestone. Here's CBS News reporter Sabina Castelfranco.
The Vatican is marking the 400th anniversary of the consecration of St. Peter's Basilica with a variety of visitor-friendly initiatives. Among these are a new online reservation system to avoid lengthy waits to get into the church, and AI-assisted translations for masses in up to 60 languages.
Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent. For Christians, we get more from the AP's Peter Smith.
Many Christians will soon begin observing Ash Wednesday, a day of fasting and recollection. Worshippers receive ashes on the forehead, usually in the shape of a cross. The priest says, "Remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return." This is a stark reminder to focus on things of the Spirit. Many Protestants also observe Ash Wednesday, especially those in Episcopal, Lutheran, and other historic traditions. In fact, many Protestant clergy nowadays offer ashes to go in parking lots, in commuter rail stations, and other places where busy people pass through. Ash Wednesday marks the start of Lent, a period of about 40 days leading up to Good Friday and Easter, the days in which Jesus' death and resurrection are commemorated. Lent is a period of fasting, of self-denial, charitable works, and prayer. People often speak of giving up something for Lent. Observant Catholics also abstain from meat on Fridays during Lent, but not from fish. Eastern Orthodox also observe Lent, although on different dates. They begin with Clean Monday. They don't use ashes, but they do start a period of fasting and self-denial leading up to Holy Week.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, February 19th or Tuesday, February 24th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Hey guys, Glover here for Zero Res. So we just celebrated Valentine's Day. They want to give your home a little extra love. This week only, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $109. That is a great, great price. Plus a 4th room for free. Book online by February 20th, 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. Don't forget to mention the DGS. It's this week only. It's a killer price. ZeroResSTL.com.
Let's go! You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Want a great way to boost your brand? Custom labels at Staples will help your packages pop, shipments stand out, and takeout boxes really take off. Shop now through April 18th and save 30% on all custom labels. Staples. That was easy.
It is 7:30 and you are listening to Total Information AM. We've got cloudy skies, 43 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, driving in on eastbound Highway 70, you've got slow traffic just in a couple of spots from Bryan Road in through T.R. Hughes. Is a little busy there. And then we'll call it east of the Blanchette Bridge in through 270. It's a little slow after that. Southbound 61 has stop-and-go pockets approaching Highway P down onto 64, but then it's just slow most of the way to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Annie Guns to about Timberlake. After that, it's really not that bad. Westbound 64, Hampton out to Big Bend's kind of slow. Southbound 270, 364 to Ladue, that's busier. North 270, backed up as you ramp on from 55. Then it's just slow all the way to Manchester, and after that, just a brief delay at Highway 64. Northbound 55, the right lane's bogged down north of Butler Hill, of course, to the 270 exit. All lanes backed up from the Union Road overpass to River to Pear. Roadwork jam, westbound 44, approaching Jefferson out through Grand downtown. Westbound 64 is bumper to bumper from 50 through 159. Then a couple of slow pockets from the 70 split headed across the Poplar. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, weather-wise, today's going to be a cloudy day, breezy with a high of 62. Not bad. The overnight low. So the high today, 62. The overnight low, 58. And then tomorrow, unseasonably warm with a high of 74. Wow. And then 75 on Thursday, but that's when the storms move in. Right now, it is 43 degrees downtown.
It's 7:32. One teen is dead, another critically injured following a Sunday night crash on I-64 in St. Louis County.
The Missouri Highway Patrol says a 17-year-old Chesterfield male was speeding and lost control of his car near the 141 exit. The car slid, overturned, and hit a concrete median before landing westbound in the eastbound lanes of I-64. It then hit a Jeep and traveled off the roadway. Troopers say an 18-year-old passenger in the car, a Chesterfield female, died from her injuries. The driver was taken to a hospital for treatment. The other driver, not injured. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
State investigators were called to East St. Louis this weekend after a police chase ended in a suicide. That pursuit started near 47th Street early Saturday morning and ended when the suspect's vehicle hit a median at St. Clair Avenue. Illinois State Police confirmed the driver died of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound at the scene.
Organizers asked for attendees to leave any negativity at home and bring signs of hope, peace, and love to Monday's President's Day rally on the MLK Bridge between Missouri and Illinois. Religious leaders like Rabbi Susan Talvey spoke at the event.
What a good idea to get people together, not about politics, and not about protest, but about prayer.
Hundreds attended the rally and march.
It is 7:33 and people are celebrating the Lunar New Year today with prayers, fireworks, and street festivals for the Year of the Horse. Crowds are expected to gather at temples and events across Asia and beyond. In Hong Kong, people lined up at midnight to light incense and make wishes. In Taiwan, worshippers heard a temple bell ring 108 times and left flower offerings.
It's 7:34, and the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
Amy,
yes.
I have a real beef with bathroom doors in hotels. The stupid sliding door. No. Give me a fully shut door, because the sliding door, you know what happens? There's always a gap.
There's a gap.
And so if you have a partner with you in the hotel room, there are sounds and smells and steam.
It puts a new meaning to the word butt crack.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
It is 7:35. Total Information AM continues with your Money Minute from Bloomberg. It's sponsored for you by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Apple announcing it plans to hold a product launch on March 4th, with the company preparing to announce several new devices in the coming weeks. The iPhone maker invited media to gatherings in New York, Shanghai, and London, saying it's holding an in-person experience. It implies a more low-key showcase. The Financial Times reporting Danaher is nearing a $10 billion deal to acquire medical technology firm Masimo. The purchase would mark Danaher's largest acquisition since its $21 billion takeover in 2020 of Cytiva. Wall Street returns to a holiday-shortened trading week and plenty of earnings reports. Investors looking beyond the headline and guidance numbers for clarity on AI capital investments. Among this week's most closely watched reports will be Walmart. Also reporting are tech names Palo Alto Networks. More fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein files. Hyatt Hotels executive chairman Tom Pritzker says he's retiring from the company and won't stand for re-election to its board. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
It's the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
Cardinal football on the move.
Among those voices, Bob Hamilton.
When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to go to radio.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470. Or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed only $59.99. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott, St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis starts at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking starts at 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley. I'm in Jupiter, Florida, covering Cardinal spring training as the Redbirds get ready for a new season.
Listen for Matt's Reports Daily. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting and Happy Roof on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's 7:40. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the peak time for the rush hour. This traffic reports a service of U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America free concerts. So if you're on northbound 270, you're bogged down, ramping on from 55 all the way up to Manchester, and then Clayton Road up to Ladue. South 270 approaching 364 to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 70 a little slow. Wentworth Parkway into 64. There's a little bit of a slowdown at Lake St. Louis Boulevard, primarily Cave Springs, Zumbell, and 5th Street into 270 are the busiest stretches. Southbound 61, again, that's slow from Highway P down onto 64, pretty much almost all the way to 364. Then Boone's Crossing to Clarkson, and some pockets east of Ballas through the Interbelt. Again, just a few slowdowns. None of that's jammed. Westbound 64 at the Science Center headed out to Big Bend is busy. South 170, the Woodson Road overpass, so south of Page down to almost Delmar, and then the Parkway to 64. Again, a couple of slow spots running on that route. If you're on westbound 44, it's a solid jam from just west of 55 out through Grand. That's due to road work. Northbound 55, you've got the right lane slowdown just north of Butler Hill to 270. All lanes back up Union Road overpass to about Weber, but it remains slow up through Holly Hills. And on the Illinois side, of course, you got that road work going on westbound 64 from 50 through 159. It's bumper to bumper, and then it's just slow after that, crossing the Poplar. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Don't miss the U.S. Air Force's Shades of Blue Jazz Ensemble, February 25th through March 4th. Enjoy big band swing, patriotic favorites, and more. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
All right, it's a cloudy day, but don't let that fool you. It's actually going to be pretty nice today. Let's get all the details on that and more from Joe Lundberg, our AccuWeather meteorologist.
And Debbie, we should see temperatures at this time of the year still in the 40s. And we're going to 62. We got to 67 yesterday, and 62 is not bad at all with clouds. Tonight will stay cloudy, breezy, mild, and temperatures really won't drop much. We'll be in the upper 50s. Clouds will break for sunshine tomorrow, and with it, temperatures are going to jump into the mid-70s. In fact, the record of the day of 74 is well within reach. Some sunshine Thursday, but also a chance for a shower or thunderstorm from midday on. That's with the stronger front coming through. Could be some gusty winds with a thunderstorm, our high in the mid-70s. Then reality sets in behind that front, unfortunately, that it's still February. Clouds and sun, breezy, cooler on Friday near 50. May stay in the low 40s with clouds on Saturday. Right now it's 46 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. Mostly cloudy, 47 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
CBS News special report. Civil rights leader and two-time presidential candidate, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, has died. During his speech at the 1988 Democratic National Convention, he coined his catchphrase, "Keep hope alive." CBS's Michael George.
Jesse Jackson said he dedicated both heart and soul to the fight for justice.
We must put a diploma in one hand, symbolizing knowledge and wisdom, and put a voter registration card in that other hand, symbolizing power and responsibility.
Born in 1941 in South Carolina, Jackson grew up under Jim Crow laws. By the time he graduated from college, he was involved in the civil rights movement. In 1965, he joined Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Inner Circle, taking on a leadership role. He was with Dr. King in Memphis when he was assassinated a few years later.
His family says he died peacefully early this morning. Jesse Jackson was 84. CBS News special report. I'm Michael Wallace.
A judge orders the Trump administration to restore a slavery exhibit.
The Trump administration has been ordered to restore a George Washington slavery exhibit it removed in Philadelphia. The exhibit is about 9 people enslaved by George Washington. The Trump administration took it down last month. The city of Philadelphia sued after the National Park Service removed the panels from Independence National Historical Park. The removal followed a Trump executive order on, quote, restoring truth and sanity to American history at the nation's museums, parks, and landmarks. But U.S. District Judge Cynthia Roof says all materials must be restored while a lawsuit challenging the removal plays out. Her order came on President's Day, a federal holiday honoring Washington's legacy. I'm Mike Hempen.
Fresh off his recent joust with the Pentagon, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly tells the BBC he is seriously considering a run for president in 2028. However, Kelly says this was never his intended path.
I'm one of the very few engineers. I'm the only person with a graduate degree in engineering in the United States Senate. I've got combat experience. That's kind of rare. I spent 25 years in the military. I didn't start out in some state legislature somewhere. I don't think of myself as a politician. I never thought I'd find myself here.
It's 7:45. It's time for Billiken basketball. SLU plays tonight at Rhode Island.
Gets the screen. Dribbles up top, pick and roll. McCautry! Oh, baby! That's the ball game. A two-hand flush.
I'm not finger rolling, reverse layup. I'm going with strength.
Oh, my. McCautry with a power dunk. With two hands.
Needed a little extra.
I mean, are they having fun or what? Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr., the Billiken Hall of Famers, 4 decades of broadcast excellence, and this is probably the best team they've ever had. SLU is 24-1. They're unbeaten in the Atlantic 10. They're ranked 18th in the country in the newest AP Top 25. They stay at 18, and tonight they visit Rhode Island. It's a 6 o'clock tip-off on KMOX, 5:45 pregame. It's getting to the point where you start planning your day around these Billiken games. They are the show in town right now. They are a lot of fun, and who knows what's ahead of them as the postseason approaches. Regular season games right now, very important. They can't trip up, and they visit Rhode Island tonight, a team that has beaten George Mason, a team that's beaten Dayton. It is not a cupcake by any stretch, and SLU will play tonight on the road. Miami of Ohio is unbeaten. They're ranked 22. They're 25-0. They'll have a challenge tonight. They play at UMass at 6 o'clock. Southeast Missouri State, they're going for first place in the Ohio Valley. 7:30 tip-off at Tennessee Martin. In the top 25, the marquee game is number 1 Michigan at number 7 Purdue. They play today at 5:30. Yesterday, number 2 Houston knocked off by Iowa State. The Cyclones got them in Ames, 70-67. At the Winter Olympics, it'll be the United States and Canada playing for the gold in women's hockey. Both teams won yesterday. Down in Jupiter, Florida, let's hear a little bit more about Yadier Molina. So he appeared yesterday in uniform along with Ozzie Smith, guiding the players and teaching them, of course, things that only Yadi can teach, really, about catching and other ways to focus on winning. Manager Ollie Marmol going in depth on how long he'd like to have Yachty around.
The plan is to have him around as much as possible. That's my number one plan. And he's more than open to that. So I know he has to travel to the WBC and he has other responsibilities. But when that's not the case, he's going to be with us as much as possible. And there's no one area. Obviously, it's easy to just say work with the catchers, and that's what he's passionate about. But he's passionate about instructing in all areas of the game, and that's what I want him to have his eye open to, is just seeing areas of improvement, being able to talk to players and instill the just competitive nature and courage that he played with, and the attention to detail. Like, that's one of the things we talked about today as a club, is just being obsessed with the small details of the game. That's something he did extremely well. So having him around and speaking into all areas is my hope.
Cardinals open their spring training schedule on Saturday on KMOX against the Washington Nationals. We'll have that game in 12:05. In fact, we're going to have 3 games going at the same time in this building. The Cardinals will play Washington in Jupiter, and that game again will be at 12:05 on 104.1 FM and 11:20 AM. Then at 1:45 Saturday afternoon, we're going to shift our 11:20 listeners to Chaffetz Arena as the Billiken women take on St. Joseph's that afternoon. And at the same time, down the hall, Y98 FM will have St. Louis City SC. They open their season against Charlotte FC at Energizer Park on Saturday afternoon. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, Billikens, and City, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's a great time, if there's ever a great time, to purchase a furnace or an air conditioner. I know it's winter. We got some great pricing. You can get 0% financing. So if you have been told that you need a new furnace, definitely give me a call. I could probably save you lots of money. Get a second opinion. Call me. Next day installs for your furnace, so you won't be without heat very long. A furnace average install about 2-3 hours for a furnace. So not a big issue to do it now. And like I said, great pricing. So if that's you, call me. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Just the easiest number. And there's one. 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, it is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty of surprises. Mac Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 7:51 on an overcast morning. We'll have the forecast details coming your way in just a moment, but let's check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, busy, but at least they're not trouble like what we had to start the morning with, Debbie. If you're on eastbound 70, as a matter of fact, it's just a little slow. K into TR Hughes and a little busy right around 5th Street, and then westbound 70, a little slow at the east terminal of the airport. If you're on southbound 61, still bogged down about midway between P and Wentzville Parkway. That goes on to 64 at 364. Approaching Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake's busy. And then there's a pocket at Ballas, and then east of Lindbergh, a couple of slowdowns to the Interbelt. South 170, Midland down to almost Delmar, but after that, it's not so bad. It's just slow on that stretch, by the way. Westbound 64, Science Center, out to Big Bend's kind of busy. South 270, 364 to Olive, then it's not so bad. North 270, though, pretty much from 55 all the way to Ladue is heavy. Westbound 44, as you ramp on from 55 out through Grand, you got a roadwork jam. Northbound 55 delays. Primarily from Bayless up to Weber, then it's slow to Holly Hills. Westbound 64 still a jam, 50 to 159, and then slow crossing the Poplar. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, it's a nice day to get outside. We're having a cloudy afternoon, but a balmy one, says Joe Lundberg, high 62. Tonight, cloudy and breezy, low 58. Tomorrow, clouds giving way to sunshine. How about this? We could hit the record of 74 set in 1971 tomorrow. Right now, it's cloudy. We're still in the 40s, so a little chilly out there to start. 45 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:52. The Reverend Jesse Jackson died early this morning at the age of 84. Decades ago, the civil rights leader got together with children on Sesame Street for a call and response pep talk.
I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be young, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be small, but I am somebody. I may make a mistake, but I am somebody. My clothes are different. My face is different. My hair is different. But I am somebody. I am black, brown, white. I speak a different language, but I must be respected, protected, never rejected. I am God's child. I am somebody. Give yourself a big hand.
That is the Reverend Jesse Jackson on Sesame Street way back in the day. He passed away at the age of 84.
And yesterday we learned of the passing of actor Robert Duvall at age 95. Before he was an Oscar winner, Duvall was a standout athlete at Principia in the St. Louis County area. And as he told KMOX's Charlie Brennan back in 2006, his favorite local memory didn't happen on a set. It happened on the football field.
What do you remember from your St. Louis days?
My St. Louis days, well, I remember I intercepted a pass in the end zone, went 103 yards for a touchdown, and my brother was in the audience, and forgot to turn on the camera.
Duvall later graduated from Principia College in 1953 in Elsa, Illinois, where he says he discovered the worth of acting after struggling academically.
At 84 years old, Duvall became the oldest Oscar nominee up until that point for his role in The Judge, opposite Robert Downey Jr.
Didn't come to my high school graduation or college.
Why? Jail time. Truancy. I was going to reward anything.
Duvall's fourth wife, whom he married in 2005, says he passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by love and comfort. She released a statement saying, in part, to the world, he was an Academy Award-winning actor, a director, a storyteller. To me, he was simply everything.
That is CBS's Jared Hill reporting.
How about this one? The woman from the Coldplay Kiss Cam is proving there are obviously better ways to make a buck. She is now doing speaking engagements about how embarrassing it was getting busted with her married boss. She's been hired as the keynote speaker at an $875 per seat conference, talking to public relations executives on how to handle PR nightmares.
And her advice? I wonder. I want to know her advice. How did she handle it?
So obviously, she came out okay. If
she's telling people
in front of all these executives, so it must be something good.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that? 756.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. YourEyeDoc.com. What an easy website to remember. YourEyeDoc.com. All you have to do is go there. You can set up an appointment. I've actually done it that way at Ophthalmology Associates. The doctors. If 250 plus doctors go there, you might want to consider it yourself to get your eyes checked. Eye exams are an important way to catch other eye issues. We're about to enter allergy season, so there's no doubt about that. You could have allergy issues with your eyes, but it could be something else. Schedule your annual eye exam at Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, YourEyeDoc.com. The doctors, experts in the diagnosis and treatment of all diseases of the eye. You can tell them Tom Ackerman sent you to get your appointment at KMOX. YourEyeDoc.com.
They know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still slow on North 270 from 55 through Gravelway and 44 all the way up to Ladue. Southbound 61 midway down from P to Wentzville Parkway into 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, still heavy. Boone's Crossing to Clarkson, some pockets from Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 44, 55 out to Grants, backed up due to road work. 64 westbound 50 through 159. You've got backed up traffic due to road work. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Coming up next hour on Total Information AM, Megan Lynch is in. An increasing number of medical devices are using artificial intelligence. A new report also reveals an increasing number of problems.
India is giving tech companies mere hours to pull illegal content. We'll learn more from media expert Julie Smith.
Civil rights leader, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, dies at the age of 84. CBS's Ed O'Keefe looks at his legacy.
A New York Times bestselling author says people are changing how they write to avoid sounding like chatbots.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly cloudy today, breezy and very mild this afternoon, high 62.
I'll be back for the Gas House Gang with Chris Ranji and Bernie Miklas at noon.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Jesse Jackson, a charismatic champion of civil rights who pushed for a rainbow coalition, died today at the age of 84. Team coverage begins with correspondent Ed O'Keefe.
In a statement this morning, Jackson's family wrote, quote, "Our father was a servant leader, not only to our family, but to the oppressed, the voiceless, and the overlooked around the world. His unwavering belief in justice, equality, and love uplifted millions. And we ask you to honor his memory by continuing the fight for the values he lived by."
I'm Michael Wallace. Civil rights leaders are praising the Reverend Jesse Jackson and his legacy. National Urban League president and CEO Mark Morial tells CBS Mornings Jackson brought the ethos of civil rights into mainstream politics.
There would not have been a Barack Obama without a Jesse Jackson.
The Reverend Al Sharpton says when he wanted to rebel, Jackson kept him on track.
He kept his country on track, kept his world on track. He became the moral center. He became the standard bearer.
President Trump's posted to Truth Social saying he knew Jackson well. He calls him a good man with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts, someone who truly loved people. His family says Jackson died peacefully. They don't say where or give a cause, though he suffered from a rare neurological disease. Indirect nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran lasted about 3 hours today. Lise Doucette is in Iran.
The word from the top negotiator for Iran, the foreign minister Abbas Araghchi, was, he said, we're going to Geneva with real ideas. And that's what we're hearing here too, that Iran is now ready to compromise. It's ready, for example, to look at diluting its highly enriched uranium.
President Trump has repeatedly threatened to use force if Iran doesn't rein in nuclear production. In a rare show of force, Iran announced temporary closure of the Strait of Hormuz today for live fire military drills. Court documents reveal information about the person who killed 2 people and critically wounded 3 at a high school ice hockey game in Pawtucket, Rhode Island yesterday. CBS's Anna Schechter.
The shooter had a history of conflict with their family, disputes, even bringing that into the court system, and that their gender identity had been part of some of these disputes with family members.
The shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot. Artificial intelligence is everywhere now, including Vatican City. Sabina Castelfranco reports from Rome.
The Vatican will begin to offer AI-assisted live translations of Mass in 60 languages. Starting next week, the faithful will be able to follow services on their smartphones during the main celebrations at St. Peter's Basilica.
This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, February 17th. I'm Megan Lynch. A federal judge declares those slot machines in gas stations and convenience stores across Missouri illegal.
U.S. District Court Judge John Ross ruled late Friday that the unregulated games operated by Wildwood-based Torch Electronics do actually meet the statutory definition of a gambling device. His ruling strikes down the company's defense that the machines do not rely on chance. Torch operates more than 6,000 of the devices across the state. Judge Ross notes that he finally stepped in to resolve this issue because of the ongoing delay from the state in taking some sort of action and because of inconsistent outcomes in the courts. His decision is expected to give local prosecutors the cover needed to enforce gambling laws over the machines. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, as we've reported, has already filed lawsuits in the boot heel. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Organizers asked for attendees to leave any negativity at home and bring signs of hope, peace, and love to Monday's President's Day rally on the Martin Luther King Bridge between Missouri and Illinois. Religious leaders like Rabbi Susan Talvey spoke at the event.
What a good idea to get people together, not about politics, and not about protest, but about prayer.
Hundreds attended the rally and march. Illinois political candidates making plans for the final month until the March 17th primary. The vote-by-mail process has already started. County Clerk Tom Holbrook told the Spotlight on St. Clair County podcast that vote-by-mail was really popular in his county during the last few general elections.
We have about 25,000 utilize vote-by-mail. That's about 23% of our people who vote in an election.
Today is the last day to register to vote at Illinois County Clerk's offices for the March primary. You have until March 1st if you do it online through the State Board of Elections. A cousin of Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker leaving the Hyatt Hotels Corporation hierarchy after his name showed up in the Epstein files.
Tom Pritzker's name is seen repeatedly in Justice Department documents regarding the investigation into deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And in a statement, Tom Pritzker said he exercised, quote, terrible judgment maintaining contact with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. WBBM has seen some of the emails between Tom Pritzker and Epstein in which the two discuss things like vacations and having dinner together. It has been previously reported that one of Epstein's accusers testified she was coerced into having sex with Tom Pritzker, which he denies. The Hyatt Corporation says 75-year-old Tom Pritzker is retiring as executive chairman, effective immediately. Terry Keschner, 105.9 WBBM.
Judging from the crowd size, a steady cold rain on Saturday did not deter revelers from hitting the streets of Soulard in typical St. Louis fashion.
And even though the liquor was flowing, problems were limited. Beth McCoy is with the Mardi Gras Foundation.
We are so lucky that both the St. Louisans and the people from across the country who come to Soulard to celebrate Mardi Gras generally do so responsibly and respectful of the neighborhood.
St. Louis police reported issuing 20 citations to underage drinkers. New this year, proceeds from the mayor's ball will benefit tornado recovery efforts. McCoy says while the ball was a sellout, the amount of money raised is still being added up. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Lohmeyer Sculpture Park celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. Executive Director Lauren Ross says it all started after Henry Lohmeyer died and wife Matilda began wondering what would become of their 60-acre property.
It was through meeting someone at the St. Louis County Parks and Recreation Department that they started having conversations, and he planted the seed of the idea of why don't you leave your property to the Parks Department to be turned into a park for the enjoyment of all St. Louisans?
Then Ernest Trova donated more than 40 sculptures to the park, and so it became a sculpture park. Since then, they've worked with more than 1,000 artists, and on any given day, you can see about 70 sculptures. A special exhibit, Begin Again, 50 Years and Counting, on display through the end of the year. From the KMOX Business Desk, a longtime manufacturing site in Lindenwood Park could be replaced by a Quick Trip. The convenience store chain proposing to demolish the U.S. Ringbinder building at Arsenal and Jameson to construct a new gas station. The plan involves raising the industrial facility along with some homes nearby to fit the new store. The Lindenwood Park Neighborhood Association will host a public meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. Residents can see the plans and ask questions at Watson Terrace Christian Church. Coming up on Total Information AM, more medical devices are using artificial intelligence. A new report also reveals an increasing number of problems. We'll get the latest. Plus, we'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain had started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10. Let's see how things are rolling on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look great out west, Megan, on southbound 61, eastbound 64, and eastbound 70. 64 just has some slow stuff. Chesterfield Parkway west to about Timberlake, and then it's bogged down from Lindbergh to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, slow. South 170, a couple of spots south of Page down to Del Mar, and then Brentwood to 64. It's just a little slow, so that's better as well. North 270, you've got heavy traffic from basically north of the Sappington or overpass or approaching Gravois. It goes all the way up through 64. Northbound 55, just a little busy. Bayless up to River to Pear. Westbound 44, you've got that roadwork jam that runs from 55 most of the way to Grand, bumper to bumper through there. And on the Illinois side, you've got a jam most of the way on westbound 64 from 50 past 159. After that, it's just a little slow at the Poplar Street Bridge, so not bad once you get through the work zone there. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today, breezy and quite mild this afternoon, high 62. Remaining cloudy, breezy, and balmy tonight, low 58. Those clouds give way to sunshine tomorrow, breezy and warmer, the high 74. That would tie the record from 1971. Thursday, partly sunny, breezy and warm. A chance of a shower or thunderstorm from midday on. Any thunderstorm could produce gusty winds and hail. The high Thursday, 75. The record is 77, set 10 years ago. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy skies this morning. We have 47 degrees in Florissant, 46 in St. Peter's, 46 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Artificial intelligence is entering the operating room. Reuters journalists have been tracking reports of problems. Jamie Dowdle is deputy editor of data journalism with Reuters.
Artificial intelligence has actually been around in medical devices for a really, really long time. The FDA first authorized their first AI-enabled medical device in 1995. And so the technology is different. Where we think of ChatGPT, that's the generative AI, where it's taking this trove of information and it's creating something new. And most of the medical devices that use artificial intelligence, they use something called machine learning, and essentially, I'm oversimplifying this, but it's very technical. I'm not a data scientist, but it's essentially, again, there's a bunch of information, a bunch of data. There's something called deep learning, and they train these systems to do things. But it's different than generative AI. And so a lot of these devices are enhanced with artificial intelligence. They might use algorithms. The devices that we looked at in the story specifically, they existed in other ways before AI was helping them, enabling them, right?
So one of the great examples you give is the device that helps ENTs with sinus surgeries. What did you find out about that device and the complaints or the reports of injuries?
Yeah, so the TrueD navigation system is a device, a navigation system. And again, vastly oversimplifying it. But if you think about it, it's almost like when someone is having a sinus surgery, it's kind of like a GPS. The surgeon will take a CT scan of the patient, and this device helps them know where their tools are, the tools that the surgeons are using in the sinus surgery. And so it's really beneficial to know those things, obviously. And so this device has been on the market since 2018. And before it added artificial intelligence, basically these features that allow it to the AI that was added to it in 2021 allow it to help surgeons automatically detect kind of important features of a person's body, again, oversimplifying it, but then also find the shortest path from point to point in a person without going through bone, which is, of course, very important. And so this artificial intelligence, when it was added, before it was added, the FDA had received reports it was like 7 events involving malfunctions and 1 patient injury. And then after AI was added to the device in late 2021, we've seen at least 100 adverse events or malfunctions. And it's really important to know that the FDA reports, it's like this passive surveillance system. So the FDA manufacturers are required to report things to the FDA, but those reports are not confirmed. They may have incomplete information, and we can't use it to establish cause, that it caused harm, but it is a information to let us know something's happening. And the company denies any connection between the injuries and its AI. But we did find some really concerning things. So with the TrueD navigation system, we found reported examples of a patient who had cerebrospinal fluid leak from their nose during a surgery. There was a surgeon that accidentally punctured the skull base of a patient. And then we spent a lot of time in the story talking about 2 women who went in for chronic sinusitis, which is something millions of people suffer from. And they came out of the surgery and ended up having strokes and have some really serious allegations and injuries.
So based on the research that you've done, and I know you looked at, other devices, What needs to happen next? What are the experts saying about these devices and their safety for patients?
So that's a really great question, and there are some important things are happening at the same time. We've talked about this AI in medicine. Well, there's a surge of it. What we found in our reporting is that the number of AI-enabled medical devices that the FDA has authorized, it's more than 1,300, and that's double the total that was authorized through 2022. So we're seeing this vast expansion. At the same time, the FDA, the regulator of the device, medical devices, they understand that there are some extra concerns with artificial intelligence in medicine. And about 4 years ago, the FDA started staffing up. They were hiring scientists from the corporate world, which is it's hard to lure them away for public life, but they did, and they really staffed up, and they were sitting next to regulators and actually helping them break the machines and really see what was going on, and they were really taking it seriously. And what our reporting found is that in the cost-cutting policies of the Trump administration last year, DOGE, a lot of those people are now gone. They were either laid off or they chose to leave. In one key area, like a third of their staff are gone. And so there are really a lot of concerns over whether there are enough resources to handle this influx of medical devices that have artificial intelligence. And the FDA tells us that their goal is to protect the public and that they are taking this very seriously and that they thoroughly vet AI devices. And they also said that they are looking to grow in this area as well.
What about medical experts that, have experience with these devices? What do they think about this explosion in AI use?
So, I didn't talk to a ton of medical experts, but I did talk to researchers, people who were looking at these issues themselves. And they have had concern because, there's all of this new technology, and some of it we just don't know what's going to happen. And so there's a study that was done by Johns Hopkins and some other researchers, Georgetown and Yale, and they took the AI medical devices authorized by the FDA, and they basically found a number of them that had recalls within the first year, and they had found it was something like twice the rate of regular devices. Some of these devices were having recalls within the first year of their clearance. And before our story came out, they were posing questions this is concerning, but we're not sure what the impact is. And we were able to show some real life examples. And so there are a lot of conversations happening in the medical world right now.
That's Jamie Dowdle. You can read the article about AI in the operating room at Reuters.com. 8:20, time for a check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, if you're on northbound Highway 270, you've still got slow traffic coming up from just north of Gravois all the way up through Ladue. Looks like we have an incident at the end of the ramp from 64 getting onto North 270 because the right lanes are backed up both ways, eastbound East of Mason, westbound at Ballas. Other than that, on 64, you've still got slow traffic through Clarkson and then from Lindbergh through to Big Bend. Westbound 64 Hampton to Big Bend's heavy. South 170 backs up at Brentwood Boulevard. Northbound 55 just a little slow at Weber. Westbound 44 roadwork delays from 55 to Grand. Westbound 64 still backed up from 50 through 159, and it looks like Route 3 at Queenie, you have a train crossing, a bit of a jam both ways there. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're looking for mostly cloudy skies today. It will be breezy and balmy this afternoon, a high of 62. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
You want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Celebrate jazz legend John Coltrane with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in a special one-night-only event, Coltrane 100 Legacy. Celebrate Coltrane's creative genius through powerful orchestral arrangements of his most groundbreaking works. Curated and arranged by acclaimed composer Carlos Simon, this performance features saxophone icon Joe Lovano in a journey from Coltrane's early classics to his late visionary masterpieces. It's jazz, symphony, and legacy, all in one unforgettable night with your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. February 28th at 7:30 p.m. at Powell Hall. Tickets at slso.org.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain has started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. The government of India says social media companies will have to take down unlawful content within 3 hours of being notified. I want to talk about it with Julie Smith. She's a Webster University media instructor and author. Good morning, Julie.
Hi, Megan.
What spurred this?
That's a really good question. I think that it's just the overall movement of how social media platforms are assumed to be causing a lot of problems. But what's interesting to me, I wanted to look into how does the Indian government define unlawful content?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy here, right? We have the First Amendment. Clearly they don't. But what they said counts as unlawful content is any national security issue, public order, which I'm not sure what they mean by that, and sexual offenses. So these are vague terms. So I think what they're trying to do is just keep people on their toes about what they're posting. And I think they're trying to hold the social media platforms, hold their feet to the fire and make them compliant. Because if the companies don't bring down the content within 3 hours, then they can lose what they call this safe harbor, which over here we call Section 230, meaning that the platforms are not responsible for anything posted on them by a third party.
How difficult will it be for these big tech companies to comply with this?
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. There are 1 billion people in India that use these platforms. How on earth can you police that sort of thing? I think it's going to be absolutely impossible.
But in some ways, can you say that's the cost of doing business? They open their platforms in these countries, so shouldn't they have some responsibility for following the laws of those countries?
Oh, one would think. But I think as if I'm an attorney for one of these platforms, I can say, well, we're based in the United States, and the sheer volume makes it problematic and impossible for us to do what the government's asking.
How could this change the user experience for people in that country?
It might really have their antennas up, right? Maybe more awareness of what constitutes unlawful content. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the people react, because it could be, with these really vague descriptions and vague definitions, it could be that some stuff gets flagged that doesn't really need to be flagged.
Is this a model that the United States should consider? Maybe not the same parameters, but something similar.
I would be fascinated if the United States tried something like this, because the First Amendment isn't absolute. There are things that are not covered, which are automatically already flagged on these platforms, but we don't have a law that says they have to bring this stuff down within 3 hours. And it used to be 36 hours in India, but they shortened it to 3. So if I'm a platform over there in India, I'm a little nervous.
Julie, thank you.
You bet.
That is Webster University media instructor and author Julie Smith here on KMOX. It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber, first in line for the HVAC guy, first at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardy and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
8:30, time for another update on the roads this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're getting better on North 270, Megan. There's a little slowdown at 44, and then north of Big Bend up to Ladue is the busiest part there. Eastbound 64, you're still looking at heavy traffic east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. Just a slow down, not a jam. Westbound 64, Hampton out to Big Bend's busy. South 170, right around Brentwood. If you're on westbound 44, you still got a roadwork backup from Jefferson out to Grand. 55's cleared out coming into town. Still seeing a backup northbound on Route 3. Southbound not as bad, but a jam coming up toward Queenie, so it's backed up from Jerome most of the way to Queenie. It looks like the train crossed, but there's still leftover traffic. And we still have leftover traffic westbound 64 west of 50 through 159 due to road work. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. From now on, if you spring a leak, need a water heater, or have hard water,
Thanks for calling
Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Jerry Kelly will fix the leak, install the thing, and make that hard water easy. From the company who's got your whole home covered.
JerryKelly.com.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, cloudy skies today, breezy and balmy this afternoon, though a high of 62 degrees. Right now we have cloudy skies, 47 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Now we remember the Reverend Jesse Jackson. His family says the civil rights leader died peacefully this morning, surrounded by loved ones. Jackson had been battling a rare neurological disorder. CBS News correspondent Ed O'Keefe looks back at his life and legacy.
The future preacher, civil rights activist, and presidential candidate was born in Greenville, South Carolina in 1941.
I was born next door to a white church. I could only attend as a janitor.
In his 20s, Jesse Jackson gained national attention as an aide to Martin Luther King Jr. and a leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
A shot cracked out from across the street, dropping him to the floor.
He was in Memphis on April 4th, 1968, when King was assassinated.
The white people's best friend is dead.
King's murder sparked tension between Jackson and other civil rights leaders as they struggled over who would lead their movement. Ultimately, Jackson launched his own organizations that later became the Rainbow Push Coalition, still advocating today for Black economic and political empowerment.
We shall fight this institutional racism wherever we see it.
He also became an international hostage negotiator. In 1984, he helped win the release of an American pilot from Syria. Later, he'd broker freedom for Americans held in Cuba, Iraq, and Kosovo.
To the White House!
His activism and diplomacy buoyed Jackson's first campaign for president in 1984.
We do not just need a new president, we need a new direction. Our leaders are talking too little to too many leaders in this world.
Jackson ended up placing a stronger than expected third in the Democratic primary. In 1988, his second campaign focused on increasing government spending and U.S. support for the Third World. But he came up short once again.
We must never surrender. America will get better and better.
After campaign politics, Jackson was a talk show host and was an early supporter, but occasional critic, of Barack Obama's presidential bid, famously photographed in Chicago's Grant Park on election night, 2008. In 2017, he revealed he'd been suffering from Parkinson's disease for several years, but his public appearances continued, more as a supporter of a new generation of activists
In the filibuster.
fighting for voting rights, fair housing, and police reform. Echoing the same message he spent years preaching.
And nobody can stop us now. Moving on up. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Ed O'Keefe, CBS News.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. was 84 years old.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Your Money Report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's John Tucker.
This is the Hollywood drama that never seems to end. Warner Brothers Discovery has agreed to temporarily reopen sale negotiations with rival Hollywood studio Paramount Skydance. It now sets the stage for a potential second bidding war with Netflix. Warner Brothers negotiated a waiver with the streaming giant that will allow it to engage with Paramount for 7 days about the terms of its most recent offer. Traders are coming back to their desk with tensions climbing around Iran and also concern about the broader impact of artificial intelligence rippling beyond the tech sector. The outlook for Federal Reserve rate cuts also in focus following Friday's tamer than expected inflation data. Apple says it's holding a product launch March 4th, with the company preparing to announce several new devices in the coming weeks. And Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is close to cutting business ties with Anthropic and designated the AI company a supply chain risk. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
If snow and cold has you thinking spring, why don't you do something constructive and call Chesterfield Fence and Deck? Let this be the year that you have that beautiful outdoor space that you've always wanted. Whether you're talking about a new deck, a patio, a pergola, they do all of it. And of course, fences as well, sunrooms, screen rooms. You can visit their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best since 1968. All of their products are guaranteed by a 5-year labor warranty, comprehensive material warranties provided. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Now, if you're looking for the rock bottom cheapest price, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is not it. What they are is the company that guarantees their work and has been doing great work for 57 years. Quality work that will last for a long, long time. So you can enjoy your outdoor space for years to come. If you mention me, Debbie Monterrey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. ChesterfieldFence.com.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Looking for a career change? Well, the Gelman team with eXp Realty is hiring. Their unmatched blueprint to success, real support, and proven systems help agents take their business to the next level. Level up your future and earning potential. Take the first step at thegelmanteam.com.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. A new artificial intelligence video generator from the creator of TikTok is drawing the ire of Hollywood organizations. They say CDance 2.0 blatantly violates copyright and uses the likeness of actors and others without permission. A federal judge has ordered an exhibit about 9 people enslaved by George Washington to be restored at his former home in Philadelphia after President Trump administration took it down last month. And a new study reveals as many as 2/3 of U.S. adults used over-the-counter or prescription medications on a weekly basis. 16% report taking more than 5 meds. Time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, that's not bad, Megan. North 270 is still slow, though, north of Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh to about Big Bend, you're still pretty heavy. South 170 really just slow at the U-Club Tower now, so not much going on there. Still have roadwork delays at a couple of spots. Westbound 44 west of Jefferson through Grand. It opens up before you get to Vandiver, and there's also still delays. Not quite as bad, but it's still bogged down on westbound 64 midway between 50 and 159, and it opens up westbound just west of that location. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Just ahead on Total Information AM, what have you heard about health issues impacting our community? Well, there's a St. Louis project that looks at it every week. First, though, let's get a check of the forecast for today. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and balmy this afternoon. Expect a high around 62, cloudy and breezy tonight with a low of 58. And then tomorrow, clouds are going to give way to sunshine. It's going to be breezy and unseasonably warm. We could have a high near the record of 74 that was set back in 1971. Right now, we have partly cloudy skies, 47 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Are you getting accurate information about things that impact your health? That has become a common question in recent years. And there's an effort in St. Louis to help us all build accurate health knowledge. It's called I Heard St. Louis, an initiative from the Health Communication Research Laboratory in the School of Public Health at Washington University. I wanted to learn more, so I reached out to Professor Matthew Kruder. He's director of the laboratory. Good morning and welcome to KMOX.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
So I know I gave just a brief description of what you do, but the bigger picture, what's the mission of I Heard?
We're really trying to do a better job of listening to the public, listening to the community to find out what do they know and not know about health? What are they hearing about health? What questions do they have? And what are the things that they're concerned about and would like to learn more about? And I just think that is so important for public health and health-related agencies and organizations to be able to address what people have on their minds.
I found out about you through the newsletter emails that you send out, where you cover really topical things. For example, one of the more recent ones was the winter storm we had in January, and you looked at whether people prepared and then how they prepared. How do you think that helps the public?
Well, we're always talking about the importance of preparedness for big events like a big storm, and we don't always know what people are actually doing in their lives. We hope that they're taking some of those lessons to heart, and it looked like St. Louisans did an awful lot, and really were quite prepared for the storm. And we can also and did follow up after the storm to get a sense from the community how the response was from local governments, like were streets cleared, and in their neighborhoods could they get around, and that's important too, I think, for accountability.
You also have a website where you look at weekly health claims. In this age of mis and disinformation, how hard is it sometimes to sift through the headlines and the stories and really give people accurate information?
Well, I think we're committed to doing our best to sharing what is known scientifically and from a policy perspective, but also to being really honest and candid when we don't have all the answers. And I think that's equally important for the public and for St. Louis organizations to know not just what questions the public might have, but to be able to answer them in the most honest way that we can. And sometimes that means to explain why something you may have heard probably isn't accurate. And that's part of what we're trying to accomplish.
How do you decide the topics?
Oh, it's really interesting. So, first of all, for the listeners, we send out a survey every Saturday at 1 p.m. to 200 St. Louis City and County residents. The survey stays open for 48 hours. And then in the next 72 hours, we go through the results and, sort of find out what are the most important points and insights. And then we share those 3 days later with organizations throughout the community. So we're trying to get this information back into the hands of partners. So every week we are looking at responses from the prior week. We're looking at the landscape from news media organizations. We're looking at things that are trending online and in social media, and trying to identify things to ask about in St. Louis to see whether those are on people's minds.
How did you choose those 200 individuals?
So this project started over 4.5 years ago. So we've been doing I Heard for tomorrow will be the 234th consecutive week that we've been doing these surveys. It started during COVID, and at that time, like the very first weeks that we did this, we were really focused on COVID and kind of vaccines and what people were hearing about the vaccines, because like the health departments weren't sure what to respond to or what to prepare for. So that's how the whole thing started. And we were reliant on community partners throughout St. Louis to help us connect with people in the community who would be part of a panel to answer these questions. So the panel has changed over time, but we have people, there are about 80 or 90 zip codes in St. Louis City and County. We have people from all but 4 of them. So we're really trying to have, geographic representation and a diversity of opinions from, young and old, men and women, families with kids and without, like all manners of, diversity across St. Louis.
So I'm curious, now that you've been doing this 4.5 years, you said, are there questions that you have asked repeatedly, for example, to maybe be able to track any trends?
Yeah, there are a couple. I think the one that's most relevant to St. Louis is we do ask on a recurring basis what people feel is the most important health problem facing St. Louis. And that's changed a good bit over the last 4 years. Gun violence has always been number one, but it's been trending down, and what's been trending up and closing the gap are issues related to mental health and also substance abuse. So those have been like the top 3 or 4, although their relative position is changing. So people are increasingly concerned about mental health and substance abuse issues and becoming comparatively less concerned about gun violence, although it's still the top concern.
I notice, because this is kind of what we do in broadcasting, that the information that you present is in the kind of smaller, digestible pieces. When you send it out to the public, how key do you think that is in building people's health knowledge?
Well, I do think that, we live in an information age where a lot of information is available from a lot of sources, but it's in these very small digestible chunks. So I think you have to acknowledge that. I think the other important perspective that we have is that, like, we're probably not the best messenger. What we're trying to do is help the messengers, like people who do have the eyes and ears of St. Louisans. We want to share with them what we're learning from the community. They can decide, you can decide, how to make that meaningful to the people who follow you. So that's sort of how we view our role.
Anything else that you want the public to know about the work that you're doing through I Heard St. Louis?
Well, I would certainly invite people to, if you want to subscribe and receive the weekly alerts that we prepare, anyone can get them. If you go to stl.iheard.org, there's a sign up page and you can go there. And even if you don't sign up, you can share with us ideas that you have or things that you might be hearing, and those can end up on one of these weekly surveys, and we'll find out what folks think.
Matthew, thank you so much. Very interesting, and appreciate your service.
Thank you, Megan.
That's Matthew Kruder with I Heard St. Louis, based at WashU.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-535-1582. 800-535-1582. Again, that's 800-535-1582.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Is your furnace on its last legs? Don't wait for a cold night to find out.
Jerry Kelly and KMOX are giving you the chance to win a brand new furnace this winter season. Just go online to KMOX.com/contest through March 1st and nominate someone who you think deserves a brand new furnace. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Win a brand new furnace. For more information and contest rules, just head to KMOX.com/contest.
Thanks for listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. My next guest says artificial intelligence is actually changing how we write. Joshua Lysek is a New York Times bestselling author who has ghostwritten more than 110 books. He's also a persuasive writing coach. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Looking forward to digging into some details here.
When you look at this issue, how many people do you think are changing how they use language, how they write because of the proliferation of AI composition?
Yes, AI composition is pretty obvious once we start to see the pattern. Phrases like not just X, but Y, and the use and overuse of the rule of three, particularly three staccato sentences, where when you're talking and speaking and communicating, because it's not just about writing, it's about, you see, I sound like I'm speaking in AI, and there's M dashes throughout. So what I'm noticing is happening is we're seeing CEOs, founders, influencers, and even some political commentators I know are intentionally breaking away from their old favorite writing style that would regularly use M dashes or the rule of three or not just X but Y type of sentence construction, because wait a second, people are going to think I'm using AI. So I need to change myself so that I don't sound like AI anymore.
There might be people out there, though, that say, well, is using AI for writing necessarily a bad thing if it simply helps you communicate what you want to get across to people?
I think it can be useful. One of the most common use cases I'm seeing amongst professional communicators, be they writers, authors, or journalists, is brainstorming ideas, brainstorming directions, and thinking of it as sort of an intellectual sparring partner. Hey, I have this idea for this article. What might be the best way to open it? Or what are 3 points I need to hit on this topic? Or I need to do an internet search for sources that are around this subject. So basically, it's kind of like going, technologically speaking, historically speaking, it's a bit like going from a farmer with a hand plow and an ox to a farmer with a tractor. That is the best metaphor I'm finding, analogy for AI use. If you're a competent, capable strategist at your craft, then AI will make you significantly more proficient, effective, faster, and so on and so forth. A bit like the ox and plow versus the tractor. But at the end of the day, it's still you, the farmer, who's driving the machine.
Are you concerned at all that AI will get so sophisticated at some point that none of us will be able to tell whether it's a human being or an AI chatbot that had a hand in writing?
I think it's going to come down to the prompting. We've noticed all of the different models, be they Claude or you have, of course, ChatGPT, there's Grok also. Those three, and even their most recent updates that they've made available to the public and the paid plans, premium plans, these sentence constructions, these tells of AI that I talked about, where they'll say randomly, here's the truth. Here's the harsh truth. And the kicker is, it's not just vibes, it's also mindset. That sort of annoying, let's say, almost hypey, preppy corporate speak from a marketing communications professional. That's how I liken that particular voice. We're seeing that same output from Claude, from X, from ChatGPT, or XAI is the Grok app, right? So we're seeing the different ones all mimicking one another in the output. So there's some reason that they're all communicating the same way. And even if I will re-prompt it and say, remove these sentence constructions, guess what? It doesn't remove the sentence constructions. If I say, don't use the word vibes, it'll only use the word vibes once instead of the 7 times it was in there before. And so in order to have AI remove AI from itself, I have to do a significant amount of editing. And now I've spent more time that would have been less if I had just written the dang thing myself.
Any other tips you can give us?
Yes, when you are doing your prompts, I have found using a large number of adverbs in my prompts improves the quality of the output. For example, if you are editing, let's say you've got a raw transcript. Let's say you want to write an email and you turn on your recorder. Maybe you've got fireflies.ai and you turn it on, you want to record it. And you say something like, I want to write an email about blah, 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 blah. And then now you've got this recording, okay? And then you can go into the Fireflies app. And you would then say, you wouldn't say, turn this into an email that I can send. Because then it's going to take what you said and then add all those strange sentence constructions. This is not just an email to my boss. It's an email to the person who signs my paycheck. Okay, that wasn't supposed to be in there and it wasn't in there. So what you would do is you would insert something like in the prompt, revise this transcript only very lightly so that it can become an email. And I've tested with one adverb, two adverbs, three adverbs, but the sort of exaggeration of your point using adverbs seems to communicate to the LLM just how serious you are and that it should take you seriously because you used so many adverbs. So that anytime you're trying to kind of guide via your prompts what the AI output should be, use three adverbs. And maybe it's because it recognizes the rule of three and favors it so much.
Joshua, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
That's author Joshua Lysek. Chris and Amy next on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Contact with nature quickly reduces stress. Researchers at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor found just 20 minutes during daylight spent sitting or strolling in a place where people feel in touch with nature significantly reduces the body's production of the stress hormone cortisol. The study's